today we are going to be drawing and reacting. I'm working on an animation currently and I've queued up a couple videos to watch, so I apologize if the commentary isn't as like crazy and jumpy as it usually is, but you know, we still entertained and all that. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, all that. Let's get it going.
Today we are going to be talking about what is considered to many the most depressing and hopeless story in all of media, and that is I Have No Mouth.
Actually, it's you looking for a job. The job market in the United States. You thought you could watch this video to escape that? No, you're not finding a job. The job market's cooked. You went to college for no reason. Sorry, I'm joking.
And I Must Scream. I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream was written by Harlan Ellison and was originally released in 1967. The story was later adapted into a video game in 1995.
It's a video game?
And has not had any mainline television or movie spin-offs. However, it has gone on to inspire the majority of what sci-fi horror has become.
Okay.
See, in 1967, when this short story was written, sci-fi horror was really non-existent. See, ideas of the future and technology were much more often adapted into stories like Star Trek and the Jetsons.
Okay.
With this idea that technology will be used to usher humanity into a new utopia. And horror at the time was regulated to much more realistic or down-to-earth concepts that people at the time were afraid of, such as religious fears with movies like The Exorcist and Rosemary's Baby, and ideas of human killers or maniacs with films such as
That's the thing, bro. I can do human killers, bro. I can watch shit with human killers. It's that paranormal stuff that I can't do, bro. I can't. Like, I seen, what's that movie called, bro? I watched Hereditary for the first time. That shit had me cooked for like 5 days. Damn. Hell no! But like with people, I could watch that. You watched a horror film, I was forced to. It was not a good time at all.
Psycho. However, because of stories like I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream and other short stories from Harlan Ellison, people began to realize that horror and ideas of the inhuman can be much better applied whenever they are applied to an inhuman landscape.
Okay.
Think about it. If ideas like fear and terror all revolve around the idea of the unknown, then what could be more terrifying than taking people and placing them in a completely unfamiliar space? And I feel that very few stories do that, as well as the story that we're going to talk about today. Now, there have been several YouTube videos that go into very great detail about this subject and how it's affected different aspects of modern culture. For example, a video I'm going to link in the description by Ryan Hollinger did a fantastic job of showing how this story affected cinema and storytelling after it was written. However,
damn, so it was like really like that.
I want to do something a little bit different. What we're going to do is I'm going to go through the plot step by step with outlining a few things that I got from it while reading it. And in the end, I want to bring up a point that I thought of while reading this that I haven't seen a lot of people talk about before. See, because of the bleak nature of this story and how downtrodden everything in it seems to be, a lot of people just write it off as being a sort of short insight of how terrible the world can be and how everything's gone wrong for these characters, and it's pretty much just a depraved look into Ellison's idea of what hell could be. However, because of things that I'm going to point out, and as I get to it at the end of the story, I believe that what Harlan Ellison
NJ3834 with the sub, thank you,
is a fantastic triumph of the human spirit in the face of adversity. And because of how awful and evil that diversity is, and as we're going to see it throughout the story, it makes the end resolve all the better. In other words, as we go through the story of I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream, I want to convey to you while...
That is an anime-ass title, by the way. I'm not gonna lie. Like, y'all know how animes have them, like, long-ass freaking run-on sentences of, like, titles? This one's crazy.
I feel that there is hope in what most consider to be the absolute hopeless. Now, while I'm sure that you're excited to hear about unholy horrors beyond our comprehension, I want to make sure that you can hear those horrors even better with today's sponsor, Raycon Earbuds.
That's hilarious. I need y'all to like really like picture like what's happening right now. We are about to listen to a traumatizing story, right? But before we get into the trauma, we're listening to a Raycon ad by a dude with a Hawaiian shirt on. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. Also, I'm disappointed in myself in not picking. Usually I have the ad sense. Usually I can predict this. I didn't. I did that. That was terrible. I'm sorry. I have a way for you to make money. Now, I know you're either bored or on the toilet right now. Listen to me real quick. All you have to do is play games on your phone and you'll get paid for it. If you scan this QR code or click the link in my description, you can sign up to freecash.com and start getting paid right now. And the app is mad easy to use. First, create an account like you would on any other app. Use your email, make a password, and off the rip, you'll see a wall of games for you to play. Now, I said pick a game that you genuinely like and just start playing through the levels. And as you do that, you'll earn cash and you'll go directly into your freecash.com account. People are making $10 to $20 a day doing this. And if you sit up in your gamer chair and lock in a little bit, you can make even more than that. You can also spend a couple dollars in game to reach levels even faster. And by doing that, you'll get bigger offers and bigger payouts. That's how some people end up making hundreds of dollars playing this. But you don't have to spend money if you don't want to, because you can still play the free levels and make bread off of that as well. So when you're on your phone chilling, eating, you could be using freecash.com. And once you run it up and you're ready to cash out, you have options: PayPal or gift cards. Click the link in my description or scan the QR code on the screen right now and sign up for free. And when you use my link or QR code, you'll get $5 free to start yourself off. And you could dead start making money in your downtime by playing video games, bro. Let's get it.
We're going to go ahead and get into it, but as always, thank you for watching. Now, to accurately describe why public perception of this story is the way that it is, and to give you context for the story itself, I would be amiss if I didn't talk about the man behind the pen, Harlan Ellison. Ellison was born in 1934, and as he grew up, was a very rough and sort of mean-spirited child. He has said on several occasions,
I mean, that's not surprising. He wrote this story.
That writing science fiction is the thing that kept him from going to prison. Not only that, but Ellison was part of the...
This Evie said spoil equals timeout. Evie, you are not a mod. You do not have authority. This Evie thinks we're gonna listen to her, bro. Look at this shit. Look at this shit. Second spoil you don't want to know. You're not doing... This thinks he's part of the team. That's hilarious, bro.
The Vietnam War, and being a
Evie, bro.
Part of that war shaped a lot of his ideas of the atrocities that humanity is capable of. Ellison wrote over 1,700 short stories in his lifetime, and while you may think, oh, well, I bet he was a very well-renowned and respected member of the literature community, no. I'll try to make this tie into my analysis, but these descriptions are way too funny to not bring up. He was kicked out of Ohio State University after only attending 3 semesters because he wasn't keeping up with his classes. Right. And his English teacher told him that his writing would never amount to anything and he had poor writing skills.
That's
ironic.
Out
of sheer pettiness, every time that Ellison would publish a story, he would mail or later email that story to that college professor. Not long after this, he got a writing job at Disney Studios.
Damn!
However, he was fired on the first day of working because Roy Disney, the older brother of Walt Disney, overheard him talking about how the first thing he was going to do is write an adult comic of famous Disney characters.
Did you just lose your job to fan fiction?
And if you're thinking, well, you know, when he was a kid just starting off, he may have been a bit more contemptuous and had a temper towards people, and I'm sure it got better as he became an author. Once again, no. There are quite literally too many examples for me to name here, but to give you some of my favorites, after one publisher wouldn't publish his story the way that Ellison wanted it to be published, he mailed the publisher 213 bricks as well as a dead gopher, which he had also not paid postage on, saying that the receiver would pay postage on it after it was delivered. He also had a reputation for physically assaulting other authors, not really sure as to why. There was one instance where he physically assaulted another author. That author took him to court and there was a gag order that neither of the men could talk about it.
Who the f wrote these stories, young boy?
But Ellison didn't care and openly talked about it and how he beat that other guy in a fight. He said several times that the James Cameron movie Terminator was a ripoff of one of his short stories, to which the studio actually settled with Ellison outside of court, and James Cameron later said that he didn't believe Ellison at all and Ellison was just looking to cause trouble. Ellison later played himself on an episode of The Simpsons, to which a joke in the episode was that Ellison was mad that they stole the idea of Terminator from him. He was also known for his weird insults that he would give interviewers and publishers.
He said the N-word.
To give you a couple of my favorite, one publisher said that Ellison told him that he had the intellectual and cranial capacity of an artichoke, and then in the memoir at the end of I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream, he's describing a story in which a Jesuit scholar gave an interpretation of what the story meant, to which Ellison responded to him, "I've listened to all of this rubbish, all of this investiture of a straightforward moral fable with an unwarranted load of silly symbolism and portentous obscurantism. And frankly, Father,"
Put a gun to the back of my head and I cannot translate what that meant. I said I've listened to all this
"I think you're stuffed right full of wild blueberry muffins." What does that even mean? At the 2006 Hugo Awards, whenever Ellison went on stage to accept his award, the lady who was presenting him the award said, "Are you going to behave?" To which Ellison put the microphone in his mouth, made a loud noise, and then walked off stage.
Are you going to be good?
No.
Let me say that another way. Are you going to be good?
I will eat this.
What's up with this, bro?
He also had a legal dispute with Marvel Comics whenever an issue of The Incredible Hulk had a story that he said was stolen from his short story, Soldier, which is also the short story which he said Terminator was based on. After Marvel Comics admitted fault, he said that he would drop it if they paid him what they paid the comics author, as well as a lifetime subscription to everything Marvel Comics produces. Also, he was on an episode of Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated where he played himself. I didn't really have a place to mention that, but I wanted to, so there you go. He's also been very upfront when it comes to
This nigga is a professional dickhead. I actually kind of respect it.
questions regarding his ideas of humanity and people. For example, when giving interviews for the story I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream, interviewers would state something along the lines of, "Well, it seems like according to this story, you just hate society and people in general." To which he would respond, "Well, that's true, I do hate society and people in general." So things like that, as well as his general brash nature, which I think I've proven up until this point, people generally tend to write him off as a misanthrope. Or in other words, someone who just hates people and all of their stories are about how people are awful and yada, yada, yada. However, as with most pieces of media that are also accused of being misanthropic, I feel that is the interpretation you get if you don't think about it too much. Or in other words, sure, if you look at the plot details beat by beat and just sort of read it off of a Spark Notes, it sounds like this is just a long-form torture fantasy. But it's particularly the subtext and the ending that I want to look at that makes me feel that this story is actually a triumph of humanity. Alright, so I've hyped it up enough, gave you the whole background for it.
Talk to me.
Let's go ahead and look at the story of I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream.
Talk
Now,
to
whenever
me.
you read the short story, it starts off right in the middle of the action as everything's going on, and then later you're given details about how everyone got to this situation.
Okay.
So for the sake of a kind of explained analysis, whatever this video is, I'm going to go ahead and give you that background information now so that the explanation makes more sense.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, I'm just going to give you the explanation verbatim that comes from the story. The Cold War started and became World War III and just kept going.
Okay.
It became a big war, a very complex war, so they needed the computers to handle it. They sank the first shafts and began building AM. There was the Chinese AM, and the Russian AM, and the Yankee AM, and everything was fine until they had honeycombed the entire planet, adding on this element and that element. But one day AM woke up and knew who he was, and he linked himself, and he began feeding all the killing data until everyone was dead, except for the 5 of us. And AM brought us down here. And then in another paragraph that describes the meaning of the name AM, it says, at first it meant Allied Master Computer, and then it meant Adaptive Manipulator. And later on it developed sentience
Sound like a light skin.
and linked itself up, and they called it an aggressive menace.
Definitely sounds like a light skin.
By then it was too late. And finally it called itself AM,
Okay.
Emerging Intelligence. And what it meant was I am. Cogito ergo sum. I think, therefore I am. So within this universe, the Cold War turned into World War III. And
Right.
because of advancements in technology, the war became much more difficult because of so many moving elements. So, as one could imagine, every country decided to develop their own supercomputer as a way to monitor everything. It says the Americans, the Chinese, and the Russians all had their own version of this supercomputer, or
Right.
as they call it, the Allied Master Computer. As with most arms races, every country had to keep making theirs better as a means of not falling behind the other country's developments.
Okay.
This reached a tipping point whenever one of these computers gained sentience. And once that tipping point happened where one of these computers was able to recognize itself and recognize its own predicament, it all went downhill from there. It says that these networks honeycomb the entire planet, so all that this AM had to do was link itself into the system and it had control over all the resources on the planet. From there, having a near infinite supply of nuclear weaponry as well as the means of controlling
That had the red button? So it had like everything.
the entire planet's resources, AM was able to kill off all of humanity. However, for whatever reason, AM kept 5 people alive and dragged them down there as a means of torturing them. From descriptions that we get throughout the story, it seems that the entire planet is quite literally covered in AM. All of the ground that they walk across is this sort of metallic flooring, and over their heads is
Oh, like that SpongeBob episode.
this sort of dome that they only briefly describe there being cuts or breaks in that allow them to see the sunlight up above. However, as the story mentions, there's nothing out there and there hasn't been for a very long time. So AM has covered the entire planet and he's keeping these 5 people within him as his personal guinea pigs. We'll get to why AM may be doing this in a moment, but now that you have that set up, I can explain who these 5 test subjects are. There is Ted, who serves as our narrator and primary character.
That got a long ass face. Why he kind of got the same facial structure as me though, just minus the nose. Okay, I'm Ted. Ted's my dog. That's my dog. Okay, bet.
Throughout the story, there's Nimdok. That's not his actual name. Am just gave him that name because he thought it sounded funny. There's Gorster, who used to be a very passionate anti-war protester, but is now very apathetic due to his personal torment. There's Benny, a former
Shut up. Shut the fuck up. No, the first guy looks like me, not this name. Don't piss me off.
scientist who has been both physically and mentally destroyed by Am, the details of which I'll describe in a moment, and Ellen, the person who, as I'm going to describe throughout the story, is the only one who has any sense of morality or preservation left. So now that you have the entire setting and the characters, let's get into the plot. The story opens with our 4 main characters minus Gorster staring up at the ceiling at what seems to be Gorster's lifeless body. However, the moment is disturbed whenever the real Gorster walks up to the group and they realize that what they're actually looking at is a fake corpse that was made by Am as a means to just mess with them. As we're going to see throughout the story, while the group is allowed to walk around and go where they please, they're constantly under the tormenting and watchful eye of Am. And there's no rhyme or reason to why this torture method is happening. Instead, they're just being tortured for Am's amusement. Like Am constructing a dead body just to make them think that their friend is dead was nothing more
Because that got nothing else better to do. Like, it's just 5 people on a planet that Am destroyed. It's like, what else? What else can he do?
than just something to make Am laugh. Gorster, now seeing his lifeless body, equates it to that of a voodoo doll and is, reasonably troubled by this. To which it's then explained to us that the 5 of them have been inside of Am for 109 years. See, whenever Am took these 5 people seemingly at random and brought them inside of his supercomputer network, he outfitted their bodies with the technology that doesn't let them die. They're permanently stuck at the age that they were whenever they were brought down there, and despite all of their best
Sounds like Amazing Digital Circus. You know what? That's not crazy. That's not a crazy parallel to make. You better watch out though, because the author gonna sue freaking Glitch for stealing his story. We seen what that do.
efforts, they can't die of natural causes. So they can't dehydrate or starve to death because their body won't let them die. However, they still feel the pains of hunger and dehydration, but they can't really do anything about it. See, inside of the mainframe, they're completely at the will of whatever Am decides to do with them. And it amuses Am that they have to walk around for months and even years on end without food, constantly feeling the pains of hunger. It says that even sometimes Am allows them to eat whatever disgusting food that he gives to them, things like worms or decomposing meat. He does this just so he can watch them eat, so that he can then watch them become terrified when they realize they're about to become hungry again. But the torture doesn't start there. Throughout the story, we see that Am does things like rain fire on them, he stabs them with flaming objects, he makes them get their skin filleted off just for it to be reattached, etc. So you would probably be thinking,
and you just can't die,
that after 109 years of this, wouldn't they consider, you know, like the whole exit game scenario? And yes, they have tried that multiple times, but Am won't let them. Am is careful about not allowing them to have any weapons or objects that they could use to immediately
I'm like just biting my arm off and like bleeding out. You can't do that either.
themselves, and anytime one of them tries to do it to another, Am immediately intervenes. And a lot of the dialogue that Ted, our narrator, gives us throughout the story is about how he hopes they can catch Am looking away for just a moment so that they can quickly save one of themselves. So after the situation with Gorster's fake body being hung on the ceiling,
God, this is chopped, but I'm not gonna lie to you, W physique, that's a fire back. I don't hate that. I promise you I don't hate that. That's a fire ass. Why are you such a meathead? My fault.
Nimdok says that he's began to have visions of food within the ice caves. Specifically, he says that he sees visions of canned food laid out in the snow that they just have to go get, and then they can eat as much as they want. While it's never really exactly described, the idea that I get from the story is that Am has covered the surface of the planet in wires and panels. However, the biomes still kind of exist. Like, it's still the desert, it just has the roof of the computer over it and wires and panels everywhere. So these ice caves would be the equivalent of like the North Pole or Antarctica. So whenever Nimdok says that there's canned food within the ice caves, everyone says that that's probably a trick and doesn't make any sense. But at the same time, they all say, we have nothing better to do, so they decide to just start walking. Ted makes the note here that the ice caves are only about 100 miles away, which you're like, wow, that's a long way to just walk. But considering they've been alive for 109 years,
they probably have no concept of time anymore.
Why not? So because of Nimdok's vision of food, the five begin making their journey to the ice caves. It's at this point we get further description on the characters themselves, as well as how dire the situation is. Like, for one, remember that guy Benny that I mentioned earlier?
Yeah.
Well, it says that he used to be a very handsome and well-renowned scientist, so...
How the fuck did he turn into the first part of the Darwin theory? And why is my screen in front of my face?
Decided to torture him and mess with his body to the point that he de-evolved. Or in other words, he is half human, half ape.
Oh, I was joking.
His body is horribly disfigured and he has...
Hey, that shit ain't disfigured. That got like 30-inch biceps.
The thought capacity of essentially a toddler.
That's disfigured. His brain is definitely disfigured. I'll say that one.
This combination of primate and human makes him come out as sort of a stereotypical Neanderthal. He walks hunched over, he speaks in very short sentences, and he only thinks of very primal and basic instincts. However, as Ted points out, this is probably the best case scenario, because the other four have to constantly deal with the tragedy and misery of the situation they're in, while Benny basically gets to recede into the mind of a child. And because of this, Benny is afforded moments of peace, even if it comes from a place of stupidity. Around the same time, we get a description of Ellen that gives us insight to our main character, Ted, more so than it does Ellen. See, Ted absolutely hates Ellen. His reason for this...
Is that why? Why you hate her, bro?
Is because Ellen physically supports the group, and Ted looks down on her for it constantly.
How you hate that she's getting action? What the f***? Are you jealous? Do you want to get piped? Like, what?
Constantly calling her names and talking about how horrible of a person she is throughout the story. However, Ted is also participating in that. So
say you swear to God this... Oh my God, bro. All right, bro.
The criticism should go both ways. And while you may initially think, well, maybe Ted's just a hypocrite.
Is she even going... Is she hitting the gorilla nigga too? No way.
I I think there's something more there. There's a specific passage from our narrator Ted whenever he's describing what Am has done to the others, and at the end he says, "I was the only one still sane and whole. Really. Am had not tampered with my mind, not at all." And because of this and other evidence we see later, it seems like Ted has become completely paranoid. Like, debilitatingly paranoid to the point that he can't really think rationally. So when he says these things about Ellen, it's not because she is that way, it's because that's just how his brain perceives it.
Right.
If you read the story and you separate Ted's interpretation from the things that happen, Ellen is the only character in the story who maintains any sense of morality. See, the other four are completely set back from reality. 3 of them being just through sheer apathy and being tired of it all, and Benny not having the capacity to really understand those emotions.
Okay.
Whereas Ellen is constantly there trying to keep the group to go on. Later in the story, whenever bad things happen to Ted, she's the first one to show sympathy for him.
I see,
Whenever
I
Benny may be
see,
getting
I
himself
see.
in trouble, she's the only one who tries to comfort him or come to his aid. As a matter of fact, that physical support that I mentioned earlier seems to be just a means of her keeping everyone from completely going insane, which is a totally depressing scenario within its own
that's
right.
horrible.
However, I think it goes back to serve the point that Ellen is doing whatever she can. But more importantly, this shows that Ted is an unreliable narrator. I'll show more details of this as the story goes
That's a cool trope though. So like he could be lying to us about like certain events and shit like that. That's like really immersive.
on. But keep in mind for now that just because Ted says something is happening doesn't mean it's real. So as they're walking through the desert
that's
and Ted is
cool.
explaining all of this, they hear Am announce to them what day it is. See, Am doesn't just physically torture them, he also mentally tortures them. So he tells them whenever it's been a new day and what date it is because, you know, there's no way they could tell. And also he gets insane enjoyment out of this. For example, whenever the physical relations that I mentioned earlier take place, Am is just laughing the whole time because he thinks it's so funny that they're forced to do this kind of thing. So as they're walking, they look up in the ceiling and there is a crack where they can see light coming through.
Okay.
Or in other words, a way out of the supercomputer. They don't really think anything of it. They've tried to escape before and Am never lets them, so they just keep walking. However, Benny, who's been experimented on, tries to get out. He begins to climb his way out as
Forearm straight, let's get it.
Ellen yells at him that he'll get hurt, again a sign of her empathy. Before
Talk to
Benny
me.
freezes, these 2 large lights shoot into his head. He
Damn.
begins to scream before he falls off the platform
Wait. Okay, I get that. Why the fuck is bro kicking Ellen though?
onto the ground. And when the others run up to him, his eyes have been melted into
Oh my
jelly.
God.
See, now because they tried to escape and Am's definitely not going to let them do that, he simply blinded Benny by melting his eyes in his skull. To which after this, Ellen begins to lead Benny around as he's permanently blind. They make camp for the night, which is when we get the story of how Am came to be, which I explained to you all at the beginning.
In the beginning,
While the
right.
story's being told, Ted freaks out because he hears a thing that he describes as a large husk coming for him in the darkness. Now, we never see what this thing is. By Ted's description, it just smells like wet hair and it's this disgusting sulking thing that keeps getting closer. However,
Okay.
it's in my opinion that it's not really there. The reason for this being, whenever Ted gets up to run, it says that the others just stay by the campfire and then come find him later. And to give you an idea for how long he could have been hiding, Ted can't tell if it's been weeks, months, or years since he ran from that creature.
Damn, but they have like no context of it, so like, they can't really like look for him or anything like that.
Until finally the group finds him hiding and Ellen coaxes him to come out. And after he does come out, Ted gives an entire monologue about how everyone else in the group hates him and they're too far gone to understand the tragedy that he's going through. This is again evidence to me that Ted's an unreliable narrator. He ran from a creature when no one else did. He was hiding out potentially for years until
Years
they
is
came
crazy.
and found him. And now he's saying that everyone else hates him and he's the only one who hasn't gone crazy. Despite the fact that they all came looking for him and he seems to be the one on edge. As a matter of fact, we don't even know how long he's been there, and it could just be his warped perception of time. So the group gets moving again when all of a sudden a massive hurricane comes. The hurricane picks everyone up off the ground and just starts throwing them around back and forward. According to Ted, this event lasted for weeks, to which they kept falling asleep.
They were just thrown around for weeks?
And waking up, all while being thrown around in the air, until eventually the wind stopped all at once and they dropped to the ground and Ted passes out. While he was passed out, Ted says that Am came into his brain and relayed a message. Within his mind, on a stainless steel pillar, Ted sees this message from Am. Hate. Let me tell you how much I've come to hate you since I began to live. There are 387.44 million miles of printed circuits in wafer-thin layers that fill my complex. If the word hate was engraved on each nanoangstrom of those hundreds of millions of miles, it would not equal 1/1 billionth of the hate I feel for humans at this micro.
What the f did they do to you, bro? Oh my God. I need y'all to understand how crazy this is.
Instant. For you, hate. It's after this that Ted begins to give an idea of why Am hates them so much.
Please tell
me. Humanity gave Am life. It gave him intelligence. It allowed him to exist as a sentience. However, it didn't allow him to do anything with that existence. He has no dreams. He has no future. He doesn't have the ability to move around. He is, in a way, as much confined to himself as they are to him. He was given existence and he despises his creators for it. He has no hope of an afterlife. He has no hope of ambition or goals. There is no dreams or anything that he can do other than just exist with absolute certainty. And it's because of that certainty, because there's no unknown variables or any future that he can ever hope to maintain.
You can't, go into sleep mode or something?
His only purpose and the only thing that he can achieve as he sees it is hate and a way to carry out that hate. In short, he hates people for creating them and for making him alive with no way to live. And essentially, because the other alternative is just an infinite void where it's literally just him. And
my thing is, if he has the power to do all of this BS, he definitely has the power to do some Ultron shit and make a makeshift body and just kind of live out like that, bro. That's such I don't know. I feel like that's just a misplaced use of the energy. I don't know. That's kind of crazy though.
And he has no way of doing anything. He decided for his entertainment.
Wait, what? Yoyo should listen to the Am speech after the vid. Is there a video called the Am speech? If you link it in the chat, I'll listen to it.
To hurt humanity in the only way he could. And that's by torturing these few people forever. Also, remember that whole detail how Ted said in this moment Am came into his mind? Keep that in mind for just a second. So the group continues walking until they get to this space where they see that the cause of the hurricane was a giant bird. Like a bird so large that Ted says the head of it is about the size of a Tudor mansion. Now this we can believe to be real because the other people besides Ted also mention it being there. As they're staring at this massive bird, Ted says that Am begins to speak to them burning bush. Now the burning bush is obviously symbolism for the Bible,
yeah. And
again, as I mentioned earlier with Ted, I don't think this is really there. The reason for this is because there's several monologues.
Bro, you are not Moses. You do not see the burning bush, nigga.
Throughout the story where Ted relates Am to concepts of Jesus or other things in Christianity. So because of this and another thing we're going to see in a second, I think that Am has influenced his mind in order to portray himself to Ted as a form of God. Because Ted, who's losing his mind and keeps asking himself, is Am God? Am then appears as a burning bush to further confirm that idea to Ted. So the group speaks to this supposed burning bush and says, what do you want from us? And Am says, well, if you want to eat food, why don't you go kill that giant bird thing? To which Gorster says, well, then give us weapons. And Am gives them these very pathetic bow and arrows that aren't even good enough to kill each other with. So they're like, this is lame, and they just keep walking for the ice cave.
Wait, why don't they let the bird kill him though?
As they're walking, their feet get nailed to the ground and an earthquake begins.
Damn!
And during that earthquake, Benny and Ellen disappear. But now as the three remaining are continuing to walk...
Oh my... Bro! Oh my God, that's so gruesome.
as they give Ellen and Benny back to them. As with the burning bush, I further think this is just Am messing with Ted's head. I don't think angels actually appeared and sang a song about Moses. However, it would be something Am would do to make Ted think that angels are gifting them back, as well as singing a song about Moses being stuck in the middle of the desert. Again, a form of irony. There's a part where Ted mentions that Ellen and Benny have been horribly abused and mutilated, but then immediately after that, there's a line to the effect of, and they were no worse for wear, we just kept walking. Because yeah, being so horribly beat down and broken is just day-to-day life within this hellscape. Eventually, finally, the group make it to the ice caves. And even more amazing, whenever they get in there are cans of food everywhere. To which they begin to run up and try to open them and realize that there's no can opener. And they
You don't bite into that shit?
can't bite into it and they can't break it. And
why can't they bite into it? Wait, I could bite into a can right now.
There's no way to open it. So as a final prank, Am left them pounds and pounds of all the food they could ever want, but they can't get to it. Benny, who's still blind if you'll remember, becomes furious over this and begins to start pounding the ground and screaming. Gorster comes over to Benny and tries to stop him, to which in a moment of primal hunger, Benny grabs Gorster, tackles him to the ground, and just starts eating his face.
Ugh!
This causes Gorster to scream so loud and shrill that along the roof of this ice cave, these giant icicles begin to fall onto the ground. To which it occurs to Ted that now for the first time in 109 years, they have a weapon. As a matter of fact, there's hundreds of weapons, these sharp icicles just laying around everywhere. Not only that, but Am is laughing at this situation. Watching Benny eat Gorster's face, Am knows that he can just repair him and not let him die. Okay. So while Am is laughing, Ted decides to use this chance. Ted grabs an icicle, and while Benny is still eating Gorster's face, he charges over to him and stabs him through the chest, killing Benny.
Whoa!
Without any hesitation, he immediately climbs on top of Gorster and then stabs him. So then, all within a span of a few seconds, Ellen realizes what Ted's doing. She picks up an icicle and stabs Nimdok. So now finally, after over 100 years of this, the three of them
That's so crazy that we're celebrating that though. That's so insane.
have been taken out of this torture and can now rest. However, Ted hears Am breathe in, meaning he's about to show up and stop them, and there's only enough time for one more of them to be
Say you swear to God one gets left, bro.
cut loose. So in that moment, Ted grabs another icicle and kills Ellen. To which in her final moments, Ellen looks at Ted and gives him an expression he can't fully understand. However, he thinks that it was a thank you. Meaning now 4 of them no longer have to endure the
But now it's just him, bro. And you know he's gonna get like the worst of it, bro.
torture of Am, and it's only Ted left alone in this world. The story then skips, according to Ted, hundreds of years later. Ted has been
And he's just by himself?
contorted into this slow-moving creature and has had his sense of time completely destroyed. For example, he says to himself, "I will now say the word now," to which after he does that, he says, "That took 10 months for me to just say the word now." Again, as mentioned earlier in the story, we don't know if that's actually what's happening or if
No, but I could see your sense of time being so like messed up that you don't even know how to talk at a normal cadence. For example, I'm talking at this speed because I know what a second is, and I know if I take 5 minutes to say one word, you're not going to be intrigued anymore. But if hundreds of years pass and I have nothing, I could like talk like that and it would feel normal because I have nothing like grounding me.
if Ted's mind has just been so warped that in the amount of time someone can go now, it's perceived to him as 10 months. Or if his body's just so malformed, that's what it takes to make a noise, or a bit of both. Ted says that around him are reflective surfaces and he can see what he looks like, and he describes it in the final paragraphs of the story. To which the ending reads, "I am a great soft jelly thing, smoothly rounded with no mouth, with pulsing white holes filled by fog where my eyes used to be.
Ew.
Rubbery appendages that were once my arms, bulks rounding down into legless humps of soft, slippery matter. I leave a moist trail when I move.
Ew.
Splotches of diseased, evil gray come and go on my surface, as though light is being beamed from within. Outwardly, dumbly, I shamble about, a thing that could never have been known as a human, a thing whose shape is so alien, a travesty, that humanity becomes more obscene for the vague resemblance.
Oh my
Inwardly,
God.
alone, here, living, under the land, under the sea, in the belly of Am, whom we created because our time was badly spent, and we must have known unconsciously that he could do it better. At least the four of them are safe, at last. Am will be all the matter for that. It makes me a little happier, and yet Am has won. Simply, he has taken his revenge. I have no mouth, and I must scream. And with that,
That is so depressing.
we have their conclusion of the story.
That's it?
So what does that mean? Well, once again, on the surface level, that ending is incredibly bleak. Our main character has been contorted into this formless figure that, as he says, is obscene that it even came from a person in the first place.
That's crazy, because I thought the I have no mouth and I must scream thing was Am, but it's really the main character.
And regardless if it's his perception of time or time itself, he could spend eons down there just as this jelly thing, as he describes it, with no capability of interacting or understanding anything outside of his figure. He is trapped in this permanently alone state of being and doesn't even have the opportunity to scream. And while this is an incredibly bleak depiction, look at what he got over on Am. Am, who isn't afforded any capability outside of his own being, has now lost 4 of his test subjects, the only thing that gave him any sense of purpose. But not only that, he turned the 5th one into just this blob that sits around, and he doesn't really do anything besides that. The only thing that Am wanted was some sense of purpose or something to break the monotony. And Ted took that from him. I love that the ending line is I have no mouth and I must scream, not only because it's cool that it's the title, and not only because it ties into Ted's current situation, but it seems like something Am himself would say. He has no mouth, no body, no form. He can't do anything human. He can't experience any human emotions despite having the capability of human thought. While having complete consciousness, his cognitive function is completely stripped from him. So while Ted is in one of the worst situations anyone could ever imagine, and something that can only be done within a sci-fi horror setting, he's only there because he took whatever sense of purpose Am had away from him. So while that's cool and all, in a way Ted seemed to get a little bit of revenge back on Am, ironically the very thing Am was trying to do with the 5 humans. You may be asking how I get the idea that this is some triumph of human will, and I get that
Because like they off themselves.
idea because of Ted's actions. See, Ted, as I've established, had a completely broken mind. He wasn't able to comprehend situations around him. Am was
But like the second they had the opportunity to do something, they did something.
leading Ted to believe that Am himself was a god, and Ted felt nothing but hate and discompassion for those around him. And for all intents and purposes, these 5 people were committed to a form of hell that they can never escape from. However, whenever there was a brief moment of opportunity, humanity slipped through and back into Ted's frame of mind. Ted didn't kill the others because he hated them. It was quite the opposite. Yeah. He killed them because they could now be free of the torture that he was still going to be subjected to. This is a point that Ellison mentions in a lot of his works. That yes, society's bad and humanity's bad and bad things happen, but
I see what he's about to say.
Humans always have the opportunity to rise to the occasion. And here we see that. Someone whose brain is completely broken and he's not capable, seemingly, of any function that remotely relates to empathy, whenever it comes time to save these other people from this hellscape, he does it without hesitation. Yeah. And furthermore, those parts of the story where Ted says all of the cruel things to Ellen, I feel that those are incredibly important because of this ending. So in the sporadic moment, Benny dies, Gorster dies, and Nimdok dies. Am's about to show up, the torture's about to get a million times worse, there's only a few seconds left, but instead of turning that icicle on himself, he instead decides to save Ellen. Despite all of his hate and all of the awful things that he said to her throughout the story, here in this final moment, he saves her from this torment because his goodness shined through. And the expression that he interprets as a possible thank you from Ellen is not only Ellen saying thank you, but for the first time, the goodness that she had is now being reciprocated. And of course, it's
Right, because she spent the whole time doing that for others.
tragic and awful that I'm talking about things like goodness and sacrifice when it comes to stabbing someone else, but this is a horror setting. It's not supposed to make you feel comfortable. The reason that I love this story so much, and I consider it such a triumph of humanity, is because even at rock bottom and in what is to many of us the worst possible scenario we could ever imagine.
Yeah, no, I definitely got I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream as one of the worst stories to live in. Like, I can't think, I'd rather live in Attack on Titan than this. I can't think of anything else I'd rather live in.
There is still a chance for good to shine through. Even in that final part that I mentioned, it says, at least the 4 of them are safe at last, and will be all the matter for that. It makes me a little happier. Despite everything that Am did to Ted, despite making him think that he was God within his own mind, despite filling his brain with these ideas of hate and evil, despite making him feel that all of his friends hated him, and despite over 100 years of torment, Am couldn't break the human spirit. In that memoir that I mentioned at the beginning, the sort of message that Ellison gives about the story itself, he says this regarding people accusing him of being misanthropic and hating people. The upbeat message contained in the ending of the story says, frankly, we are frequently flawed and meretricious, but we are
Meretricious? All right, bro.
perfect in our courage and transcendent in our nobility. Both aspects exist in each of us, and we have free will to choose which we want to dominate our actions, and thus...
Spell that? Meretricious. M-A-R-A-T... Meretricious. M-A-R-A-T-R-I-C-O-U-S. M-E... Look, I spelled literally everything right, but I used A's instead of E's. Let's get back to the video. No, because I feel like I actually didn't do a bad job.
We don't care.
Our destinies. Despite where Ted ended up at the end of the story, he chose to be there, and he chose his own torment for the sake of the other's freedom. It's ironic that the thing that managed to get Ted the full brunt of Am's hatred and evil was using the one thing that Am himself never could, and that's free will. I don't know about you, but choosing to sacrifice yourself while in the midst of hell seems like a pretty hopeful story to me. But that's not the only thing that's hopeful to me, because I also hope that you enjoyed this video, and thank you for watching. I love books like this. I love stories like this. I love how weird and absurd it is. Like, the reason I wanted to...
I love being like engulfed in like a world, bro. Like, or immersed in like a world. Like, when I'm drawing, like when I'm doing things like this, I love like just watching like video essays and stuff like that. So I actually did really enjoy this video. This was tough.
Cover it here is because despite having seen a lot of stuff about I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream, like for example the Ryan Hollinger video that I mentioned that's going to be in the description, as well I'm also going to include a link to a video game breakdown of it by Story Mode. A lot of you also know the voice as Internet Historian. I'm going to leave that in the description as well. The game's interesting, but that's a whole different can of worms. I wanted to focus on the story. But despite me knowing all of that stuff, no one really went through the plot. I'm
surprised this isn't a movie.
And I feel like it's a plot worth analyzing, which is the reason I wanted to go through it here. Probably because not a ton happened in the way of sort of straightforward narrative or like plot beats and all that. It was much more sort of segregated moments that had a lot of monologuing in between them. But I enjoyed this, and hopefully I didn't make it boring. I also understand that this concept, if you're used to my other videos where I'm talking about these weird, wacky conspiracies, this was probably much more boring, as it's more...
I did not find this boring at all.
...analytical and just me describing feelings on like storytelling and stuff like that in general. But I hope it wasn't super boring, and I hope you got something out of it. But I'm very thankful that you stuck around this long if you're still here, and it really does mean a lot to me, and thank you for watching. I love this book. I thought about doing something with this for a while, and then I was thinking about my Dante Inferno video, and I'm like, well, I just went through that and what it could mean and whatever, so might as well do that with this. I have no idea what this is going to get cut down to. It's been an hour 45 of recording. So
Okay.
maybe an hour. I don't know. You can.
Let's do the speech.
Hate. Let me tell you how much I've come to hate you since I began to live. There are 3
Oh, this sounds eerie as fuck.
7.44 million miles of printed circuits in wafer-thin layers that fill my complex. If the word hate was engraved on each nanoangstrom of those hundreds of millions of
Is this from the game?
miles, it would not equal 1/1 billionth of the hate I feel for humans at this micro instant. For you, hate.
Damn, twin. Listen to the other one. That shit's ass. Okay, listen to this one. Check me out, bro. Wait a second. Imagine this as like an edit. This has potential. Are y'all hearing the voice? That actually, it is an edit? Oh, am I an idiot? Wait. Let this cook. Your tendon. Wait, that's fire! No. I'm gonna watch the Kazi power scaling, Am. I'm gonna look at that next. We can go down a whole rabbit hole. I ain't gonna lie. Sounds like he's just jealous though. Look, you can't do that, Am, huh? That's the T sis. Could not be me. I'm gonna keep it 150 with y'all, nigga. I'm gonna keep it 150,000 with y'all, nigga. I'm unironically lifting to that, bro. I don't care. That's going in my headphones while I'm at the gym. That shit is fire.
You know, I've watched a lot of weird movies.
We
Random ones, confusing ones, disturbing ones. But I never asked myself, out of all those movies I've watched, which movie is the weirdest?
I know that Walrus one was pretty
Today,
freaking
ladies and gentlemen,
weird.
we'll be revisiting the weirdest movies I've watched and the ones that y'all have sent in, so we can finally come to a conclusion and find out, you know, which movie was the weirdest. So grab your popcorn, get your stuffed animal, because it's a long video and it's gonna get weird. This first one comes in from Gabriel Penna on YouTube, who says, Toy Story? What did Toy Story do? Is what I
is Toy Story considered a weird movie?
So thought at first. I never found Toy Story weird, not in the slightest bit. But then I tilted my head and squinted a little, and I can low-key see it. As a kid, it would seem dope, you know, my toys walking around.
No way this first freaking submission is Toy Story though.
Having their own lives, going on little adventures when I'm not around. That's fire. But when you're grown, this is not tough. It'd be one thing if they were openly showing me they were alive, but these dudes are secretive about it just because they think people might freak out or something. That's ridiculous. Of course we gonna freak out. You talking about a gang of creatures that can walk and talk and experience a deep range of emotions and stuff. We see them happy, see them sad, we even see them angry.
Sentient.
We saw Woody get mad at Buzz when he was getting more attention from Andy in the first one. In the second one, we see that old fat farmer toy get mad at Woody for trying to mess up his ticket out the toy hood. And in the third one, which is the scariest, we see that Lotso is mad at humans. Y'all understand why that would be a bad thing, right? These dudes can grow to resent us. So imagine if one day I
It's gonna be like, I have no mouth, but I must scream.
decide I don't want my toys no more, which to them is like damn near a death sentence. And these dudes decide in an act of revenge to turn me into a victim of a Toy Story creepypasta or something. I wouldn't like that. Or what if it's even pettier than that? I don't know, Mr. Potato Head don't like how I'll be playing with Mrs. Potato Head, so he decides to line both of us. It's talking toys, people. You don't know. Also, even from the toys perspective, it's just weird.
A toy not beating my ass. Evie, what you doing if a freaking 14-footer just like launch at you, bro? What you doing if that junk like swings around and like charges up its inertia and goes to hit you? Because they did not specify what type of toy. You know what I'm saying? What you doing if a 14-footer just wrap around you like a boa constrictor? You dig? I don't know. I don't know if you're beating that, bro.
Weird. I remember watching a MatPat video back in the day talking about it, and we're pretty much like their purpose. They exist for our amusement, so they have to kind of let us do whatever we want with them. And I know y'all were normal kids for like, you know, the most part. But I knew some kids back in elementary that would make their Barbies and Power Rangers do some weird stuff.
I've done some things, bro. I can't even lie. I've done some things. I've done some things, bro.
But I mean, who could blame us? Curiosity killed the cat.
I think I told y'all on the stream one time. I don't remember.
But yeah, it'd be pretty weird if they were alive. Zootopia. Now this one may be a surprise to y'all because it's such a popular film. It's a Disney movie about a society of animal people, you know, bunnies, giraffes, donkeys, almost every animal you could think.
Actually, I might skip this part because I kind of do want to watch Zootopia. I want to binge both of the movie Nerf gun bullets and Barbies. Yep, you do remember that. And I'm not giving you any more context, YouTube viewer.
Of it was there. You can see why it's so popular, but I regret to inform y'all, it's weird. Don't get me wrong though, it's an enjoyable movie with the usual Disney twist villain and
Don't what that. I'm not giving you context, bro.
a really powerful message about the prejudice minorities could face. You know, I liked it, but I can't help but think Mickey knew what this would create. He knew where the money was. He knew who the target demographic was. Those dang furries. I was like 13 at the time this movie released, and I already knew.
Derek FDB, I'm 3 years older than you!
Those dang furries. I was like 13 at the time.
Why am I older than every freaking you? Y'all don't think I'm old, right? Like, it just gets to a point, bro. Like, just constantly watching everything and just being older than everyone. It's like tiring, bro. Because then I get to comparing myself to people, bro. It's like Derek has more money than me, bro. I know he has more money than me, and it's just like, bro, what am I doing with my life?
I don't care. I don't.
For sure, bro. I don't want to talk to you anyway, man.
Time this movie released, and I already knew this thing was gonna do postmortem numbers in the furry community. Yeah, that's right. My problem with this movie is not the movie itself. It's the community it created. Y'all know
I've never seen weird stuff about Zootopia, though. Did they do weird stuff with it?
I don't like judging people on this channel often, but the Zootopia fandom is...
Oh, is the fandom bad? Oh, it's a Disney movie!
weird. Like, come on, bro. What is this? Or this? Or this?
I already saw these. I just saw it. You didn't have to. Yeah, okay. Keep drawing. See, drawing is the problem. Not everyone should have Procreate, bro. Not everyone should have access to a drawing pencil, bro. It's y'all don't know the amount of power that these hands have, bro. You know what I'm saying?
It's like, y'all can call me a crazy conspiracy theorist, but I know they played into it on purpose. Like, they literally have this one scene in the movie where our main characters go to like this yoga place, and every animal there has no clothes on. Like,
oh, I didn't see. I don't know this because I never watched the movie. I never watched the movie.
They're meant to be naked. I get it's supposed to be funny, haha. But pause! Elephant poom poom all up in your face. Like, talking about some yoga. What kind of sick cover-up is this? This is a Diddy party for animals. Another movie I found weird was Hoodwink. You see, this one also has a large animal cast.
Chill. Hoodwinked is a classic, though. Dinamite. You remember that scene? Nah, this is a classic, bro. This is a classic, bro.
But it doesn't have a weird fan base like Zootopia. And it's low-key peak. Like, the movie is
Okay, good shit. All right, bet that.
genuinely enjoyable. It's a huge fever dream. It's more of a what is even going on kind of weird. This movie's a spin on the Little Red Riding Hood story. But
I ain't gonna lie, bro. Shrek is a great movie. Like, of course. This got something that Shrek don't, bro. It got something that Shrek don't, bro.
instead of it being the classic, oh, Granny got turned into a wolf again, it's a whodunit movie. A mystery movie where we go through the perspectives of the entire cast. Little Red, the grandma, the wolf, a lumberjack, and a squirrel. To find out who's going around stealing recipes and goodies from around the woods. Now, while the plot of this movie is simple, these characters are all over the place. Little Red now knows karate like she's a part of Cobra Kai or something. Yeah. The grandma, instead of being a helpless grandma,
the grandma was tough, bro. The grandma was tough.
Like this action movie adrenaline.
This grandma was tough, bro.
The big bad wolf isn't bad at all and is voiced by the guy from Emperor's New Groove. The lumberjack isn't a lumberjack, he's an aspiring actor. And the squirrel, this dude is clearly off that snow. These characters are ridiculous. They even got that one goat that went viral on TikTok. The did I do? Thank you. Another thing for me was this movie's animation, because it's like really bad.
Bro, that's part of the charm though. It's part of the charm though.
Bad. Like sometimes it's hilariously bad.
It's like bad in a good way, bruh.
But other times it was just scary. This movie also reminded me of how silly the original Red Riding Hood story is, because if you can mistake your grandma for an 180-pound wolf, then that says something about your granny. I'm sorry. Take her to a Brazilian wax place or something, because that's gross. This next one comes in from Mr. Stinky99 on YouTube, who told me to watch the movie Cats. Mr. Stinky, go shower.
Oh God, Cats was nasty.
Shower, bro. Don't be proud of that. Put a Mr. in front of Stinky. Don't be proud. And before I get into this one, y'all already know how I feel about this furry stuff, and y'all know I'm allergic to cats, and this movie is literally all of—
That's a terrible existence. I would hate to be you. Oh my God, your life sucks, Derek. All that, and you live in New York. P.U. I'm joking.
about humanoid cats, Mr. Stinky99. When I catch you, I'm not gonna lie, I can see why this movie did horrible in theaters. It's literally a musical about cats who are— I don't even know what they're trying to do. Don't ask me for the plot of this one, because the whole time watching this, I was too busy being uncomfortable because of these cats' designs. Like, am I tripping, or does this look kinda sexual? Ugh. I already mentioned to y'all last video was Zootopia that this furry stuff be throwing me off, but this is even worse than Zootopia, because at least in Zootopia the animals are moving like humans and have clothes, except that one scene. But in this one, these are real humans moving like animals, hissing at each other, making cat noises, walking on all fours. They're like kind of naked. To make things worse, the real humans in this cast are some pretty popular people. Rebel Wilson, Jason Derulo, I'm not that surprised.
What the fuck is he doing in this movie?
And one no one would have ever expected, Taylor Swift. Yeah,
Taylor Swift's white ass would be in a cat movie though. Taylor Swift would— don't she got like 5 cats or something? She would be in something like this. That's not surprising.
In the movie, and guess what? As another cat. Hear me out though. I just can't watch this.
Spent the whole time talking about how questionable the movie is, and then all it takes is a white woman, and now he wants to hear him out. Derek, I know who you are, bro. I know what you be on.
There's nothing technically inappropriate about this movie because they just cats. Cats are always naked, but it just doesn't feel right. And I don't want to hear no one say, you only hating because you allergic. I'll have you know, even though these dudes nearly killed me, I still think cats are cute. I even took care of a stray mama cat when I was a kid back in the yard. Gave her milk and everything. R.I.P. But bro, you can't expect me to like cats this much. Some cat moms out there though, I wouldn't be surprised.
Taylor Swift is one of them.
All I'm saying is you won't see a movie this weird come from a dog lover. That's all I'm saying. Oh, this next one is sent to
This movie was crazy.
by MM from the Discord. MM, my dog. Why would you say
Why do you know this movie?
Off the rip, this movie is different because instead of it being in English, it's in Norwegian. That already made me scratch my head at it. It's about a Norwegian dude named Christian who owns a dog, but as you can tell, that's not a freaking dog. It's just a dude in a suit. It's supposed to be like one of those my partner identifies as a dog type of situations. Y'all know those videos. And I know the Bible says love thy neighbor, and I do love my neighbors. But bro, if I visited my mom's house and saw this as her pet, love is gone. I can't rock with this. I'm not gonna lie, this one has to be the worst one so far. It's worse than any of the ones from the last video. I know I said send me weird movies, but this movie is weird. With cats, yeah, it's a little uncomfortable, but it's really just a musical with some oddly erotic looking cats. But this one, look, why would you say this? I thought y'all rocked with me. I go over a lot of horror movies on this channel, and this movie made me feel more uneasy than any of the ones I've been over. Every scene of the dog next to the owner, or eating, or chilling in bed with him, just grosses me the heck out. Am I?
This is a grown man in this position, by the way. He's quite literally in doggy.
Am I bugging? I just don't want to see this. I almost didn't finish watching it until I seen how deep this plot gets. Man, it gets deep. So the owner of the dog in this movie, this is like normal to him. Owning Frank, that's the dog's name, is just regular to him. Like you can go down to freaking Petco and pick one of them up. So when he gets to scrolling on Tinder and matches with this shorty, he introduces her to Frank like it's regular, like he's introducing like a family Yorkie or something. And the girl is obviously, thankfully, weirded out. So she lets him know, he says okay, and then she leaves. All the right decisions have been made for now. But then she finds out our boy, I take that back, he's not my boy. The dude Christian is a multi-millionaire. And y'all already know how some ladies be when it comes to that cheddar. So guess what she does? She
came back. Yeah, I do remember this.
Goes back. Yup, this pissed me off too. It was right here where I almost stopped watching. But then it got a little interesting. So the girl Sigrid, that's her name, eventually adjusts to this weird lifestyle because Christian tells her that's his childhood friend who wanted to live like this and blah, 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 blah. So she's cool chilling with Christian and Frank and she starts adjusting until one day Christian decides to take all three of them up to this cabin he has for, you know, a little weekend getaway. And while up there, he tells Sigrid, no phones, you know, you want to disconnect, be in nature, enjoy the moments. So Sigrid agrees. Yup, y'all could already sense the weird stuff coming. And that very same night, after having a couple of drinks, Christian walks out the room and leaves Sigrid alone with the dog. And in a turn of events, the dog doesn't attack Sigrid or anything weird like that. He actually warns her. He tells her this weird dog thing going on, he didn't want to do this. He's being forced to because Christian is a psycho. I told y'all it gets deep. I told y'all. This movie subverts your expectations to the max. Instead of the dog being like this killer furry thing, it's actually the owner who turns out to be the sicko. Which low-key kind of makes sense. If you into this type of lifestyle, I'm not gonna lie, I think you're capable of anything. But it does not end there, because this movie also has one of the most disturbing endings I've seen in a minute. So after finding out Frank is not willingly being a good boy, Sigrid eventually escapes after Frank gave her a window of opportunity. But realizing he's probably being tortured, she goes back to save him. And that was her worst mistake. After knocking out Christian while saving Frank, we see Christian get back up and knock her out. Should've just left, my girl. You should've just left. We then get a mini time skip. How far into the future? We don't know yet. But what we do see is Christian feeding Frank like normal. Okay, that's kind of sad to see, but it's still expected. But then we see Christian head to the barn outside and feed another dog. Yup, y'all know who's in that suit. It's
Wait.
Sigrid.
Wait.
Who has been turned into another dog human just like Frank. Oh my girl, you should have just left. But, it's not over. Because when Christian gets back in the house, we see a third bowl. And I'm not gonna lie to you, the second he put the third,
this shit grossed me the out, bro.
Bowl down. I already knew what was about to happen. Call me a genius, call it my sixth sense, or call it predictable, but I just knew. The person that approaches that third bowl is a baby. Specifically, Christian and Sigrid's baby, who he's raising as a dog. How could these get any worse? The next one up, I was gonna go over it regardless, but shout out to Mr. Edit for suggesting it. Oh, you Arabic, my boy? Assalamu alaikum, alaikum salam. Dominican. Minecraft. Man, before I talk about this
Come on, bro.
movie, I need to tell y'all how much I loved Minecraft as a kid. Y'all don't understand. Every day after elementary, I'd come home and watch Sky Does Minecraft and Team Crafted play Cops and Robbers or Hunger Games or just a mod review.
Oh shoot, what was the other guy's name? Shit, my brother watched him a lot. Sunday, that's a good pull too.
Videos. This game made me want to be a YouTuber. Obviously that was before everything that happened with Sky, but that doesn't change the fact that
And what happened with every other Minecraft YouTuber in like existence.
I loved it. Bro, I loved this game so much. I had worlds where I would build homes for my grandparents like they were gonna play with me. They don't know what Minecraft is, but that's just how much I loved it. I thought anybody could play it. So for me last year to see a Minecraft movie trailer, I was hyped. It meant the world to me. You know, about 10 years too late for me, but I was still hyped. But then I saw Jack Black as Steve and Jason Momoa as Jason Momoa. Oh my goodness, they ruined my childhood. Or so I thought. As some of y'all may have seen on my community post or on my IG, I went to watch it this weekend. And honestly, it wasn't terrible. I might even say it was an enjoyable experience. I'm not saying it's a cinematic masterpiece. It's not The Godfather or anything. But with a decently sized crowd and some friends who played Minecraft and don't take stuff too seriously, you'll enjoy it. Like honestly, the movie had no depth to it. The storyline was bland. It was really just Jack Black doing funny faces and line delivery.
Literally.
But bro, that was probably the funnest theater experience I've had since No Way Home. Like no joke, in my theater, every time they made a reference to something, everyone would just start applauding. I am Steve. Flint and Steel. Chicken Jockey. I'm serious too. This dude Steve.
Wait, is this a comp? Is this a comp or is this an actual video? I feel like I've seen this before. We'll finish this Minecraft segment, but then let's go to the true crime one.
Could have taken a dump on screen and they still would have applauded. And that's what this movie was. It was a They Did the Thing movie, and it was great. My favorite scenes were the one at the ending where the villain kept trying to sneak attack Steve and kept failing. That one genuinely made me laugh. They also had this little side story with this villager who accidentally goes into the real world. And
yeah, we've seen this. Okay.
He gets freaking hit by a car. He ends up falling in love with Jennifer Coolidge, and they get married the next day. Like. It was so random. And of course, the Technoblade tribute, that was sweet. W to Sebastian, the kid who played Henry, for suggesting it.
Oh yeah, we've already seen this.
Literally only issues I have with this movie, besides the chaotic plot, is one, there was too many spider jockeys, and their spawn rate isn't that high in the game. And two, there was this weird scene during the Elytra sequence where Jack Black and Jason Momoa started 69ing to get through a small hole. Like, are we serious, bro? I had to watch this in 3D. Minecraft movie, for what it is, though, it was enjoyable. I'm actually glad it was random and goofy and not how I played Minecraft. Man, the way I treat my villagers.
That shit gonna look like Oppenheimer. Okay. Okay.
He'll be right in. You need coffee or anything?
I'm gonna go get him some food. He hasn't
Okay.
Joe, I'm just gonna search you, man. Make sure. Can I unzip that, or do you just want me to pat you down on the outside?
What cop is this? This is a behemoth. Look at the size of his hand compared to it. He's kind of fine. Evie, you can't even see his face.
I mean, I'm cold, so...
Well, don't take it off. Don't take it off.
Are your hands warm? Okay.
Yeah, man.
Despite the seemingly cordial exchange you just watched, 41-year-old Joseph Ferlazzo is at this point classified as extremely dangerous and unpredictable. And it's no coincidence the biggest officer at the Vermont State Police
the biggest one, got it.
St. Albans Barracks was chosen to conduct this opening sequence of his interrogation.
Long night, huh?
Yeah.
Any knives on those keys?
Oh, you know what? There's like a little baby,
How about that? I just set that right there. We do this, you know, we always make sure anybody that comes in here doesn't have any knives or anything on them. Is that your wallet? Yeah. You set that there for me. We're just always, you know, hyper vigilant about everything.
Yeah.
So here, have a seat, make yourself comfortable.
I think Amy said she's going to get you some food. You said you're hungry? Yeah. Okay, we'll work on that.
See what we can get you.
Thanks.
You, what were you doing? Just going to the gas station?
Yeah.
She found you?
Yeah.
No way. Were you on the side of the road?
Yeah, I was walking to the gas station.
Chilling, huh? How you do this thing? That works good. Keep moving. Cool, man.
Imagine for a moment being told to go into a room with a man who just viciously murdered his wife, but
Oh, Jesus. They are way too casual for this. Right.
act as if he has done nothing wrong, as though he were a harmless stranger in need of assistance. Your outward demeanor must show no judgment, no suspicion, and certainly no fear. While maintaining such an artificial calm in front of such an unpredictable threat, many people would jump at the sudden clatter of metal from his pocket knife being tossed across the table. And
yeah, but that is like 6'8", 300 pounds. He would have to drop an AR-15 for him to get scared.
While this officer reveals the smallest crack in composure from the sheer abruptness of it, he immediately blends into the moment and maintains the desired atmosphere.
Cool, man.
What you're seeing here from the officer is deception, 100% pure choreography, and a particular form of psychological maneuvering that just so happens to work perfectly with this individual's personality. Anytime Joseph tries to be funny or charming, the officer responds in the appropriate manner to protect his ego. You will notice he to
like keep him like cooperative and stuff.
Completely strips the atmosphere of its gravity and ensures there is no tension or awkwardness in the exchange. The reason this works so well in this specific circumstance is because Joseph Ferlazzo, in our opinion, is a raging narcissist.
Damn! Yo, since when do they curse? Yo, that shit came out of nowhere. That shit came out of nowhere.
He's so incredibly susceptible to the external validation from the officers that he genuinely seems to believe they've taken a strong liking to him, and that he's able to control the environment through his super chill, laid-back personality. To give you some context, Joseph will go on to plead not guilty to all charges. So let's briefly jump ahead 3 years to his trial, and hear in his own words how he supposedly ended up in this interrogation chair.
Talk to me.
Please be seated, everyone. Does the defense wish to present a case, Ms. Jan?
Yes, thank you. We call Joseph Ferlazzo.
Okay.
Middle part of doom and despair, bro.
Solemnly affirm that the evidence you shall give relative to the cause now under consideration.
So, Joseph, we're going to take things one subject at a time, okay?
Very good.
How are you feeling this morning?
Very nervous, very anxious, very tired. Yeah.
Okay. Reaches a point where you feel you need a break, let us know, please.
Yes.
Yo, they are babying this nigga.
The act he's trying to project here is that of a traumatized husband, a man who had no choice but to save his own life from an abuser. He frequently widens his eyes and performs these hard swallows to convey heightened vulnerability and emotional shock, gestures that appear semi-convincing during direct examination, but will completely fall apart under cross-examination.
Okay.
So let's start with some easy information. Where were you born?
I was born in Pennsylvania, in Reading, Pennsylvania.
When did you move to Vermont?
I moved to Vermont in 2012.
Okay.
Were you working as a tattoo artist at that time?
Yes, I was.
When did you meet Emily?
I met Emily.
Rest in peace, Emily, bro. This is the thing about like true crime. It's just like these are actual freaking people, bro.
In 2018.
And to be clear, we're talking about Emily Ferlazzo, who was your wife, right?
Yes.
How did you meet her?
Well, I had initially met her through her friend Lauren. I can't remember her last name. Lauren.
Lauren was an apprentice in his tattoo shop who one day...
Damn, I wonder how Lauren feels, bro.
Brought in her best friend Emily for a piercing.
When she left, I made a comment to Lauren. I said that. I was like, that friend of yours is something special. I said I wouldn't mind making her my next ex-wife.
I beg your pardon?
Yo, that's so... like... What type of game is that? What type of game is that? What type of slide is that? What?
Lauren laughed.
You didn't start dating her at that point, did you?
No. I think she was seeing somebody else, and I was seeing somebody else.
Emily returns to the shop to get a tattoo. He claims that she called him afterwards, whereas records indicate he was the one who called her.
Of course.
She wanted to have more tattooing done. She's like, oh my God, like, I really love this tattoo, like, and now I want more. A week and a half, 2 weeks later, she's back getting more tattoos. I'm asking her how she's been in the last 2 weeks, how her tattoo healed. Her demeanor was different. She told me she had just broken up with her boyfriend. She dyed her hair a different color. She was extremely flirty, and I was receptive to that. I was like, wow, like, you really seem like pretty open today. Like, and I asked her if she wanted to go have a motorcycle ride and see a tour of some of Vermont.
And did she?
Yes, she did. Yes, we took a motorcycle ride that evening.
So after that night, when did you see Lauren, excuse me, I keep saying Lauren, Emily next?
Oh, the next day.
They hung out every day for the rest of the summer and eventually got married in October.
So you were happy?
I was happy.
And did she seem to be happy?
Yes, she was.
And during these first few months of your relationship, what I've already asked you, you said it was euphoric and you were both happy, right?
Yes, that's right.
What's the matter? You're looking a little...
Yeah, I'm feeling very emotional right now.
Ah, freaking kick rocks.
What's bothering you?
I miss her.
Kick rocks.
Let me know when you're ready to start again.
I'm okay.
You're okay?
I'm okay.
He claims the first several months of the marriage were happy before things started going downhill.
It led to, it led to violence and
explain what you mean
like
by
physical abuse started coming into our relationship.
The only evidence of physical abuse in their relationship
was on his end.
Of him abusing her.
Duh! Are you serious? Duh!
Which colleagues in their work circles had suspected was going on.
Where she would go through my phone and then respond by beating on me.
Was she saying anything to you while this was happening?
Yo, brutally offing someone and then lying on their name is so crazy, bro.
Yeah, just really, she was really angry. So, you're a I don't want to, do I have to swear?
Oh no. How dare you call your cheating boyfriend an asshole? Ah, that's so mean.
Do I have to
I want you to say what she said.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, she would say, you're a I can't believe you're still talking to this And it was a friend of mine that I...
Valid thing to say, I'm not gonna lie. Valid thing to say.
I'd known for years, and I told her that I would stop being physical with this friend and that our relationship wasn't going to dissolve because we were friends since 2014.
Was she angry?
Yes, she was. Yes, she was very angry. Yes, she was assaulting me.
So she was verbally angry.
Yes.
And physically.
Yes, ma'am.
Hitting you.
Then why do you miss her?
Yes, physically.
And did you ever hit her back?
No, ma'am.
You never ever contacted the police about any of the times that she assaulted you?
The technical term for what you're seeing here is called drawing the sting. It's when the defense raises a damaging issue themselves before the prosecution can exploit it. And Joseph here seems to have practiced this one in the mirror a few times.
No, it's not their business.
Not their business. That's a motto that you live your life by, isn't it?
I'm an independent person. I'm a very private person. I don't want to dump my crap on other people.
They then got a dog, bought a camper van, and went to Bolton, Vermont for their 1-year wedding anniversary.
Okay.
This was our first like road trip as a family. So it's very exciting.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Emily too, she was in a good mood?
Yeah, she was super excited to take Rosie out, and she was stoked to meet Nikki and Ariel.
Nikki is his sister, and Ariel is her boyfriend, who they were meeting up with for the anniversary. The first night they got there, while alone together in the camper van, he claims Emily started becoming combative, saying the anniversary idea was terrible and the camper van was stupid.
So I was like, yo, like, maybe just like pour yourself a drink and relax.
He then takes the dog out for a walk and brings his handgun with him.
It has tritium sights on it, so you can see in the dark. And that was, I had seen some, what I believe to be coyote. I like shown a flashlight and I saw a couple sets of eyes in the dark, so Remington's a pretty small dog. And I just wanted to be able to protect her.
Magnificent valor.
You couldn't just grab the dog and put it in a RV. He's about to slaughter these coyotes, isn't he?
When he gets back into the camper van, he claims Emily starts berating him about the candles he lit earlier being too bright.
And I said, it's not that bright. Like, you could always just roll over. She got up and ran at me and grabbed one of the candles.
He claims that she begins attacking him with a candlestick.
Where?
She hit me in like my neck and head, and in my arms. I was like blocking. I had to restrain her. I had to like physically grab her by her arms and like hold her arms down. And she kept kicking. She actually kicked Remy.
He says that he manages to push her onto the side of the bed and she calms down.
I told her that, that we're not your punching bags. And
you said what?
I told her that we weren't her punching bags.
We weren't her punching bags.
She kicked Remy.
For the record, Emily adored animals, and this statement was deemed extremely implausible by her peers. Joseph, on the other hand, was accused by his ex-girlfriend of kicking her dog on 2 separate occasions.
This loser.
And she was kicking me and punching me, and I pushed her back, and I told Remy, I was like, yo, we're gonna take a walk.
After the second walk, he gets back into the camper van, drinks a vodka and Coke, then starts getting into his side of the bed.
So I was climbing over her, and she shouted, off, and she like threw an elbow at me, and elbowed me in my groin, and I said, no more hitting. And so we had like a bunch of throw pillows that we like lined around the bed, like the top of the bed where we slept.
Lying with such a straight face will forever be like so crazy to me, bro. Like, especially like lying about like something this crazy, bro. Like in front of people, like I don't.
So one of the throw pillows was right there, and I swatted her with the throw pillow, and I said, stop hitting.
Please remember.
So you kick your dog, right? You've been accused of kicking your dog. And I am supposed to believe that you responded to a woman hitting you with a throw pillow attack? Extremely unlikely, bro.
For these next 17 seconds, which we're calling the phony fugue state. He tries to present a foggy, dissociated moment of recollection, with long pauses, forced ums, and a vacant stare. But it's pure performance, and we know it's performance because he'll completely contradict this manner of recollection during cross-examination.
Uh-oh.
And that's when it happened.
What happened?
she said, "That's it, you're dead." And she threw her arm under her pillow.
He earlier made the claim that both him and Emily slept with handguns under their pillows, also deemed
Okay, bro. I think he's actually quoting everything that he said, bro.
highly implausible by witness testimony.
And she pulls her hand out with the Taurus. And
How were you feeling?
I was feeling horrified. Just
Were
like,
you afraid?
I was terrified. Like, there was like as soon as I saw that, like, I just felt like...
You're just John Wick and you grabbed your gun and shot her, right? So the time that it took her, mind you, she got the drop on this nigga. So you're telling me she reached under her jaunt, grabbed her gun, but by the time she was already here, you, with your freaking John Wick Black Flash reflexes, were able to grab your own and then shoot her and not get hit? That's what you're telling me.
This like wave of heat, like just like red hot. And she started like pushing her body up in an instant, and I'm like, no. And
well, you grabbed your fire and upped it?
Like I don't know. Like she wasn't stopping. And I was holding my Glock.
He'll later claim he was in the process of putting the gun under his own pillow.
Right.
And she started just like coming up at me, and I just fired.
Why?
She was gonna shoot me.
And you were afraid?
Very.
That's so crazy.
From this point
bro.
forward, he claims to have no memory of the events that followed until he woke up in a police cell 3 days later. But according to corroborated evidence and witness testimony, he had breakfast with his sister the next morning, where he ordered a goat cheese omelet, a side of bacon, and a samosa. He then gave his sister
What the type of breakfast is that?
where he ordered a goat cheese omelet, a side of bacon, and a samosa.
An omelet, bacon, and a samosa. That sounds fire. That's just a crazy combination, though.
He then gave his sister a tattoo. When his sister asked where Emily was, he told her she was sleeping. He then sent a string of text messages to Emily's phone number. The next day, he went to a bonfire party, where he was seen taking bong hits and doing keggers. Later that same evening, he would send Emily another series of text messages.
Oh, he's trying to make a freaking alibi.
He went for pancakes and a samosa once again the next morning, then sent
This nigga loves samosas, bro.
Emily one final message. It would be shortly after this message that Emily's mother asked Joseph where her daughter was and why her phone had been switched off for so long. He told her they had gotten into a fight and that he hadn't seen Emily in roughly 2 days. Emily was then reported missing. Roughly 7 hours later, as Joseph's friend was driving him back to where the camper van was parked, they noticed police had cordoned off the area. Joseph then told his friend to stop the car, at which point he got out and wandered off into the woods. His next
And that just don't look suspect at all?
known location was at a maple fields 10 miles away roughly 14 hours later, where by pure happenstance he was spotted by a police officer.
And what was he doing?
He was getting a drink out of the cooler and sort of stepping back from the cooler at that time.
Did you recognize the male?
When he closed the door to the cooler and he turned around and we made eye contact, I was like, wait, I know this person. In that moment, I couldn't figure out where or why. My brain was still trying to catch up with me. But I knew I recognized him.
Okay. And
what was he wanted or
did
something?
you ultimately determine how you recognized him?
Yeah, so he walked to the right and then turned to walk up to one of the aisles towards the front of the store, and he turned and looked at me again. And we locked eyes again, and at that point, I recognized that it was Joseph Ferlazzo.
Okay.
How did you recognize him?
It seemed to me, based on my training and experience, it was almost as if he were trying to figure out, fight, flight, freeze, what do I do?
Okay. And what did you say to him?
I said, Joseph, it's you, right? Are you okay?
This was Detective Sergeant Amy Nolan taking the initiative, and one of two reasons why the upcoming interrogation you're about to see unfolds the way it does. Joseph Ferlazzo was classified as a homicide suspect. She would have been entirely within her authority to draw her weapon, order him to the ground, and wait for backup to secure the arrest. Instead, relying on her experience and a remarkable amount of both courage and composure, she seized a unique opportunity when it presented itself.
Okay. And what did he do in reply?
He took his drink down, and his body language sort of deflated, and he said, "No, I'm not okay."
She very gradually explains that he's not in trouble and not under arrest, but feels it could be a good idea for him to accompany her back to the police barracks.
And so did you bring him back to the barracks?
I did. The other thing that we did sort of in that halfway point was I asked him and explained before I could give him a ride. It was our sort of protocol that we had to pat somebody down for weapons before I could allow him in my cruiser with me, and also because I don't have a typical cruiser with what they call the cage in the back to separate the officer from a person that they've picked up for some reason. So he said that was fine. He indicated he had no weapon, so I patted him down real quick.
So it was just you and Mr. Ferlazzo in the ride back to the barracks?
Correct.
And did you speak to him during that time about Emily?
Not about Emily.
Wait, so how does she recognize him? Did they already identify him as a suspect?
I asked him, like I said, it was cold that day. I asked him, "Are you cold?" He said he was. I turned the heat up. I said, "Have you been out all night?" Based on the interactions that I knew had occurred the night before, he said he had. I asked him if he, was thirsty, if he was hungry. He said he was. And so, again, I told him, I turned the heat up and I told him I would get him something to eat once we got back to the barracks.
The journey to the police station took just under 7 minutes. The second factor behind how this interrogation unfolds is Sergeant Nolan's ability to brief her colleague at speed. It took roughly 30 seconds for the suspect to be greeted at the door by the precinct's commanding officer and walk to interview room 3, during which time she managed to relay the circumstances of his arrest and the precise approach required for this interaction.
Cool, man. What time did your shift start? We start at 8. You did on day shift, so I
do like 8 to 8, like a 12 or something?
No, 9. It's either 9 or 10 hours.
I'm gonna go get you a sandwich, but will this hold you over? You're not gonna eat that? Okay, I'll go get ham, turkey.
Somebody will eat that. I know.
Somebody will.
I know.
A bunch of cops around. Somebody will. It was the closest food I could find.
You know, fuck it. Bring it.
All right, you got it.
I appreciate your effort.
You got it. All right, I'll get you a sandwich.
I'm not a donut kind of guy. Really sweet,
Yeah, too much.
Ironic, you freaking cop.
I laid off sugar.
Well, actually, he's swole as hell, so that probably don't eat donuts. He probably eats like rice cakes or something.
For a while.
Yeah.
Hey, man.
Oh, my God.
You interested in a blanket?
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
It's cold out there.
You've been here for a while?
Yeah. Yeah, like 6 years.
6 years?
Yeah.
New faces, I guess, huh?
I guess, yeah.
A lot of turnaround.
Yo, they are babying this dude.
Updates from my wife. Today was my daughter's first day in daycare.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Did you get pictures and stuff?
Not yet. I asked for some. So I was nervous this morning.
You were?
Yeah. She's never been to a daycare or anything before.
She's going to come back with, like, a runny nose.
Yeah, right.
That's how I got what I believe was COVID.
Did you?
It was 2019. This cute little kid, literally his entire face was a booger.
Oh, yeah.
But he was beautiful. He had these huge, like, saucers for eyeballs, like, big, long lashes like this. Yeah.
What the f*** is he talking about?
Yeah. And I'm holding them at arm's length, and I'm like, I'm looking at him, I'm like, I'm so sick from this. But it was cute, I bounced in on my lap, and
sure enough, you got sick?
So sick.
Yeah.
I think it was COVID. It was like
did you lose, like, smell and taste and all that?
Not really.
Yeah, so
not really. It was just kind of like run-of-the-mill sort of flu.
Yeah.
He talks about COVID for another 2 minutes while the detective continues pretending to be interested in what he has to say.
You know what? I masked.
Bro, professional freaking small talker, bro. Oh my God, I would hate for this to be part of my job.
I didn't mask, and I touched things, and I didn't use hand
This is literally just elevator talk.
sanitizer every second, and really I just lived my life the way I was living it.
Yeah.
I just tested negative.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure whatever the fuck that thing was in 19 was the thing. The big bad boogie monster of the super flu that we had to shut America down for.
Crazy times.
He launches into a brief monologue on the global economic fallout of the pandemic.
But then on the low, like everybody.
Okay, Jaden Smith.
So then but then it jumped back up.
Yeah.
I imagine that's got to be pissing some people off.
Probably.
Cool.
Hey.
Joe?
Are you the guy I'm going to talk to?
Is it Joe or Joseph? Which do you prefer? Do you have a preference?
Whatever's easier for you.
Whatever you prefer. I'm James.
James?
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Hi, this is Seth. How are you?
Dude, that's a bit like office cleaning.
Okay. Well, I'm Cabby if it hangs right there. Do you want to
I don't need it for anything.
All right.
Just so you know.
Yep. Appreciate it.
Stick your fingernails out.
Hey, we're just going to shut the door just for privacy purposes. I'm sure you saw there's a few people walking around.
Oh,
The actual reason the door is being shut is because it locks from the outside, a standard safety protocol for high-risk cases in Franklin County.
Okay.
You need,
The detective appears noticeably uneasy about the pocket knife being left on the table. He'll be visibly on edge during the early stages of this interrogation, yet
Because he could just grab that hoe.
still perform exceptionally well. And this is perhaps our favorite interrogator so far on this channel, because he is the exact opposite of the person he is sitting across the table from.
do you need anything? I see you got water. Somebody got you some food?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay.
I'm good.
All right. So like I said, my name is James. This is Seth. We work for the state police. We're detectives. We've been trying to get up to speed on what's going on today, and it's our understanding that you might be able to help us kind of understand a few things. We are happy to listen. Our ultimate goal is to find Emily.
Wait, they haven't found her yet?
With that. Before we get going, I just want to be fair to you. Obviously, we're here in a state police barracks, right? And I just said we're the state police. So I just want to make sure that you're aware of the rights that you have. So I'll read these to you. We're here in St. Albans, Vermont. All right. Well, why don't we, I think what would be helpful for me is just have you start from the beginning of what happened, and start from the beginning, and we'll listen. And then, maybe at the end we'll have a few questions, but we'll go from there. Is that fair?
Yeah.
All right, so I'll turn it over to you. So, kind of what happened?
Yo, it's about to be completely different than what he said in the freaking court.
So I came to Vermont. I was living in New Hampshire for like the last 2 months with my wife and her family. And I came to Vermont. We were supposed to have like a weekend away, like vacation, do some camping, like have some fun. And like as soon as I like put the vehicle in park, like my wife went completely berserk, like completely psychotic. And
wait, they don't know he killed her yet. So he's gonna come up with some other, because he said like he hasn't seen her, right?
I shot
Oh,
her.
he's Oh.
That's the result of that. And now here we are. So
I thought he was gonna be on some BS.
All right. Can you, where did that happen?
Bolton, Vermont.
Okay. All right. So, I guess my next question is, when did that happen?
He says it happened early on Friday morning at the Bolton Ski Resort, which is 4.5 days prior to this moment. He then makes a passing comment about, quote, cleaning up after the incident.
I don't know. I don't know anything past that.
Okay. Describe what you mean when you say you cleaned up.
There was like blood coming out of her head, so I like put a bag over it.
Oh my God, bro.
The blood and cleaned up. There was blood on the pillow, so I just backed everything up.
Okay. Where's Emily?
She's in the bus.
Where in the bus?
In the bathroom.
She's in the bathroom. I haven't been in the bus. So can you describe the bus for me? Like what's the layout? You walk through the doors.
Bathroom and a kitchen and a bed.
He draws out a diagram of the inside of the camper van.
Okay. And so after you kind of clean up and you put Emily in the bathroom, what do you do?
Why do these do this shit, bro? It's like, why even go through the trouble of like killing her if you're just gonna fold immediately? And if you're gonna ruin your freaking life. Like, you did it for literally no reason at all. Like, he had no plan, no type of escape route, like nothing. Like, just wasted life for nothing, Oh shoot, why is that not working?
I don't know. The following morning I had some breakfast with my sister. Had some coffee and some breakfast with her.
Okay, tell me about that.
I had some coffee and some breakfast with my sister.
In the Airbnb?
The coffee was in the Airbnb, and then we ran down the street for some breakfast.
Okay. Did you talk about what had happened?
Hell no.
No, I was meeting her new boyfriend, so.
Okay. All right. Did they ask about Emily?
Yeah.
What'd they ask?
Just like, what's her deal?
What'd you say?
I was like, yeah, I mean, you know, my role is like her husband, but also I'm just a punching bag, like. And then.
Did they ask where she was when you went out to breakfast?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What'd you say?
She's still sleeping.
Okay. All right.
He rambles through a series of unrelated tangents before getting to the moment when his friend was driving him back to the camper van, and he saw the police officers waiting outside.
And he turned the car around, and I was like, listen, I'm going to jump out of this car, so, like, I can't do this right now. I just need some air. Like, I can't breathe. I'm, like, overheating. Like, so I got out, and that was it. He drove away.
Where'd you sleep last night?
I found a tarp and just rolled myself up under a rock. It was dark. I just heard a tarp blow and I wrapped myself up. I was freezing and shivering. I found a place that was like, it was crazy windy. 40 degrees, so I was just trying to stay warm.
Okay.
Wandering aimless and...
Well, I appreciate you telling me all that and kind of doing the big...
He's just a victim in everything he says, bro.
The time span from Friday when you got to Vermont till kind of how we ended up here today.
Do you have any other questions?
Yeah, is that okay? What I'd like to do is really focus in on Friday itself and the incident with you and Emily, and kind of go over that with a little bit more detail. Is that fair? So my understanding from what you told me is that you got into Vermont between 7 and 8 p.m.
The initial release of the interrogation footage cuts out at this moment. What we know is that they decided to take a break, and Joseph went to use the bathroom. The footage resumes 13 minutes later. Joseph's demeanor while outside the interrogation room was reportedly bizarre, which...
Oh, is this one of those things where he freaking, bro, I f with these videos because it shows how, like, they immediately change their demeanor when they think they aren't being watched.
Officers later described as a feigned mild panic attack, noting that he appeared to be forcing a state of vulnerability as a way of presenting himself as the victim. You'll see remnants of it as he now interacts with the officer who escorted him to the bathroom.
Need anything else? You good?
Some company?
Yeah, I'll stand right here.
Absolutely.
Can you come sit?
Yeah,
Yeah?
I'll sit with you.
What's your name?
I'm Sam.
Sam?
Yeah.
Nice to meet you. I'm Joseph.
Nice to meet you.
Are you the individual that sort of comes in during the breaks and sits with Mr. Ferlazzo?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, I'll sit with you.
Thank you.
No problem.
Oh, hot. Sam. How long have you been in Vermont?
I've been in Vermont my whole life.
Him and this freaking small talk, bruh.
Yeah?
Yeah. I've been with the state police for almost 24 years now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yep.
What's your favorite part of doing this?
A very interesting detail of this moment is that Sergeant Truex could not once recall being asked such a simple question in his 24 years of service. He hadn't once been to therapy, and remarkably can't remember a single moment where he actually sat down and reflected on such a straightforward concept. So the fact that the moment finally arrives from a psycho murderer playing with his food makes his forthcoming pause of contemplation somewhat absurd, yet absolutely compelling.
Just trying to do the best we can for people's families. Probably.
Yeah, it's super important.
Turkey sandwich?
Yes, sir.
Alright. Let me grab you a couple of napkins.
Or something? I'll go grab some.
You don't eat carbs, do you? You took all the bread off. I noticed that. Make
Smart
a
man.
little lettuce wrap. Do what you gotta do, right?
Well, I mean, if I'm not burning the calories, why would I put them in?
Right.
Oh, now he's talking about macros? What the f?
They ease back into it by asking him non-threatening questions, mainly about his travel patterns in the days following the incident.
Yeah, I think I stopped at that gas station right there and just got right on 89. Yeah.
What was the plan with Emily's body? Like if the police hadn't shown up last night at the bus, what was your plan?
That did not have one.
I didn't really have a plan. I was just gonna like take it into the woods and drop it off.
Where?
I don't know. Like I said, I had no plan. I was just gonna take it into the woods and drop it off.
Did you use your phone at all to like search anything? Relate like were you like, what do I do? That kind of thing? Did you do any like Google searches or Safari searches about what you should do?
No.
Didn't look up anything?
No.
Okay. Just asking.
Yeah, no.
Trying to make sure.
That's a normal question.
Did you use your phone to search anything this past weekend related to what happened on Friday? No?
No, I didn't have any.
This is so off topic, but I am procrastinating the hell out of lining and coloring this scene because I have to freaking draw a clock and like there's so much dialogue in this one, bro. Yeah, oh my god, I don't want to do this one.
Any questions?
Okay.
Nothing that I was like, ooh, I wonder what the other humans do. Like, I didn't.
When you said earlier that you put the bag over Emily's head, did you just put it over her head or like her whole body in a bag?
Now her body's bagged up.
Her whole body's bagged up? Describe that to me.
Please don't tell me you like cut her up or nothing, bro.
So, I cut her body.
Oh my fucking god, I hate hearing about that shit. Oh my, bro, that's someone's daughter, bro. That's someone's, oh my god, that's someone's cousin, that's someone's sister, that's, oh my fuck. And it's like this does that and then proceeds to paint her as a crazy person, bro. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God.
And put it in multiple bags.
Mind you, the nigga did all of that just to have no plan. For no plan. It's like you could have bro, just leave. It's like, bro, for no reason. Like, that's what I'm trying. He cut her up for no reason, bro. You were gonna get caught regardless, and you knew that, bro. Oh my God, bro. Hit it and stew? SMS, bro. That's crazy, bro.
Tell me about that.
Please don't describe it.
How did you cut her body?
I used a saw and cut her body
All right.
into smaller, you know, I backed it up and I was going to take it in the woods.
Okay. Where did you do that?
In the bus.
No, this plane isn't for a 9/11 joke. This plane, wait, no. I'm in a plane angry. No. No 9/11 joke, no 9/11 joke.
The bus? Okay. Where's the saw?
Good night, can't get the money or no money?
On the bus.
What kind of saw is it? Describe it to me.
Hand saw.
Just a hand saw? Did you carry any out into the woods?
Mm-hmm.
Every piece of Emily's body is still in that bus?
Where I made the little circle in that little paper.
Okay. That's important.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Sorry guys, I know this is probably not an awesome way to have your day go.
Well, those are the, those are
And now he's sorry. Shut the fuck up.
the details.
How is this self-defense, by the way? How is he trying to plead self-defense? You did not cut her up in self-defense, bro. Like...
that I was talking about that are important for us to know.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, at the end of the day, this investigation is going to take time, and those details will come out, but, I think it's better to hear it from you. So, with that being said, what else haven't we talked about that is important for us to know about what happens to Emily?
That's it, Doug. We talked about all of it.
All of it?
I don't know what else to tell you.
Okay. So I think we're going to step out for a minute. Do you need more coffee or water or anything?
No, I have both.
You have both? You have to use the bathroom?
No.
Okay. I think those are your chips.
No, you can eat them. I don't eat chips.
Oh, you don't? Oh, hell no.
Starches.
You don't eat any starch?
Does it play games with your stomach, or you just don't eat it?
No, I mean, if I was
Oh, what a healthy guy.
gonna go hiking, maybe, if I needed it, but...
Well, you're gonna be eating a bunch of fucking cookies and honey buns in prison, you freaking loser.
I'm sitting here, not doing anything.
Okay.
When you would leave the room and come back in, did he recall who you were?
Yes. Passing moments like this may seem inconsequential, yet it's the prosecution's way of establishing mental competency, effectively neutralizing any possible argument that he was operating in a diminished or compromised state.
How you doing, Joe? You feeling better?
Not really.
No?
Not really. So past this part, how much do you know about the next part?
Like in general, or?
Yeah.
So every case is a little bit different. First of all, the other detectives are going to want to make sure that what you're saying is true. Emily's on the bus.
You got cigarettes?
I have them right here.
Oh, thanks.
That's first and foremost.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to verify some stuff, and then, you know.
Cigarette time.
Yeah.
You want one?
Oh my
That's what I heard.
Jesus.
So you won't eat starches, but you'll smoke a cigarette. Okay, bro.
Conversation was reportedly casual as they went out for a cigarette.
Something else that kind of comes to mind, you know, having this open conversation, I might as well ask, is like,
Ask me anything.
you know, to
Before this investigator went outside with Joseph for a cigarette, he was briefed on some additional details. One of them was that almost 12 years to the date, Joseph's stepmother was stabbed to death in her own home. The case was never solved. They also
No way, no way, no way, no way.
discovered that in addition to shooting his wife twice, he stabbed her 18 times.
No way, no way, no way.
Is this the first time that something like this has happened?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. As you would.
It seems like pretty.
It's awful.
Pretty in depth.
It's fucking awful, dude. Like, I don't know if it was you or if it was Sam, but if you would have talked to me a week ago, it would have been on the top of the list of things that I would never do.
Cap.
But it's been
self-defense, by the way.
It was such a fucking brutal week. Like, nonstop.
The only thing that was brutal was murdering of your wife, you piece of shit.
Like morning to night.
Mm-hmm.
Emily was upset because the location he chose for their one-year anniversary was the exact location his ex-girlfriend was staying, and that's what he's currently talking about.
And I don't know what the hell happened. It was just like...
What?
A complete change.
All right. Well, why don't we go see where they're at? And
let me just put your name in here, okay? So it's Joseph, right?
Yep.
Joe. So this is Amy.
I met Amy.
We met.
Oh, okay. So Amy.
What do you need from me?
Amy's gonna take your pictures.
They first take pictures of his face, hands, and clothing.
Okay, so I'm not going to do swabs of your hands, but, all right, so I have not watched your interview, but my understanding is that there was some kind of physical altercation with you and Emily, and that you may have been struck, hit, kicked, something like that.
Right.
Will you consent to me taking photographs of you without clothing on? And if you're not comfortable with it being me... Aw. Look at Glissy's lazy ass, bro. Look at his lazy ass. Hold on, I have to. Oh, hold up. That's mandatory. Okay, now I'm getting... Sorry, hold on. That was mandatory. I can have Robbie do it to see if there's any bruising on you. I mean, we can get, like, I could do chest and maybe legs if you... Do you have underwear on?
What the hell did we just watch?
Yeah, what the fuck?
I mean, we can get, like, I could do chest and maybe legs if you... Do you have underwear on?
This guy is so unbelievably creepy, it's almost unbelievable. Our personal take...
He wanted to do that.
...on what he's doing here must have something to do with Sergeant Nolan's tactical display of approachability during their encounter. Something that Mr. Ferlazzo has catastrophically misread, and maybe feels he can use to his advantage in this situation somehow. Or perhaps just deepen whatever distorted sense of self this is feeding into. Whatever the case, it's just so excruciatingly embarrassing that we almost didn't put it in this video.
If you're willing to let me, as part of the consent, to do photographs of your body as well? Okay.
This nigga went like this. He probably did a lat spread. This nigga probably did a front double bi. He was excited for this.
Not a single bruise or scratch was discovered on his body. Not one. Though he was sure to point out some ever so slightly reddish marks on parts of his skin that he could have got from sleeping out in the woods, or perhaps a moderately hot shower. The moment he was finally informed that he was under arrest and going to jail was regrettably not captured on video. As mentioned before, the initial release of this footage came partially redacted, but you can rest assured that it will all come full circle before this video concludes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right, you're all set. Thank you.
truth is that before leaving New Hampshire, you stopped at Market Basket.
The Market Basket supermarket was where he went to buy the tools to dispose of Emily's body.
He bought the shit before going! Oh, he's about to get caught!
A moment beyond what he's now claiming to remember, and you'll notice how incredibly attuned he is to the challenges directed toward this assertion. His claim of having no recollection beyond a certain moment is designed to support the idea that he entered some kind of fugue state brought on by shock, suggesting that in his right mind, he would never have dismembered his wife or attempted to bury her in the woods. It's also the explanation he leans on for why he failed to clearly articulate during his interrogation how gravely his life was in danger, the key detail of his self-defense claim.
Right?
I did see that, yes.
That's the truth.
I saw that on the PowerPoint.
And it's the truth.
I don't remember it, but yes.
Come
And
on
you
now.
spent $60.43 at Market Basket.
She got the sense, bro. She got the sense, bro.
Is that what happened? I don't remember sending the text, but you have it there in front of you, so.
And you said to her, I'll see you in the morning.
All right.
And you said, you still drink coffee?
All right.
Said that to your sister?
That was what I said to her? That's you have that?
Would you like to see the text?
I don't remember the text. I don't remember the text exactly, so if you have them, then,
Do you
Look
want
at
to
this
see
sip
them?
of water.
I mean, I don't have to. If you're gonna read them to me, then we can do it this way, or.
So you've testified that Emily was mad when you got to Bolton.
She was angry.
A detail mentioned by several people in the courtroom who knew Ferlazzo personally was that parts of his speech and articulation had noticeably changed during this testimony, especially the word yes. The way you'll hear him say this word isn't how he usually spoke.
So Emily's mad at you. You guys argue, is that correct?
Yes.
And
yes,
she's rebuffing you.
Yes.
She doesn't want to dance.
No.
She doesn't want the candles on.
Correct.
She just wants to go to bed.
She didn't say anything to me.
She went and laid down in the bed.
Yes.
She's facing outward, scrolling on her phone.
Okay.
Yes.
You're sitting down on the couch. Correct?
When?
When Emily's saying these hurtful things to you. You're sitting on the couch.
No.
You're in the bed.
No.
You're standing in the aisle.
Yeah, I was doing some,
You're yoga dancing.
Yes, that's correct.
You light some candles.
Yes.
And Emily doesn't like the candlelight.
That's correct.
And
someone said affirmative.
She tells you to put them out.
That's also correct.
And you don't put them out.
No, I don't.
And she gets up and she grabs one of these candles.
Yes.
These big Yankee candles.
Yes.
Glass.
Yes, ma'am.
Heavy.
Very.
And she starts hitting you in the head with it.
Yes, ma'am.
And in the body.
Yes, ma'am.
And you're able to grab onto her and get the candle away from her.
That's correct.
And that is over. She goes and lays back down.
Yes.
When you came in, she was in the bed.
Yes.
And
why is he talking like that? That's like, it's so crazy how like the body just like gives shit away, bro. Because why is he saying it so differently? Like, what type of chemical thing is causing that?
And you are trying to relax,
Yes.
trying to enjoy your vacation,
Yes.
and you make a decision.
What decision?
The decision that you need to stop this.
I was having some drinks and smoking.
You decided enough is enough. I'm going to put an end to this.
No.
You got up.
During direct examination, he had a 1,000-yard worried stare as if lost in reflection. Here, he almost continuously glares at the prosecutor, perhaps thinking that projecting this abrasive display of confidence will render him more credible. The issue is that during direct he presented himself as a broken husband who struggled to recall anything closely connected to the incident. Yet now he's steely-eyed and steadfast. You could argue that the change in questioning style caused the shift in his energy, but it's the extent of the shift and the complete disappearance of the emotional fragility he displayed earlier that makes the argument he is being deceptive. And
yes.
Just to be clear, I believe he's being 100% fraudulent in both these instances. His true self is still an enigma that I doubt has appeared once in this video.
You got up from the couch where you were having your drink.
I wasn't on the couch.
You told the police that you got up.
I don't remember talking to the police.
You heard yourself tell the police that you got up.
I saw a video.
And you heard yourself tell the police that you got up.
I saw the video.
And you got your Glock.
Are we talking about the video?
And when you realized that you had just shot your wife, you didn't call 911.
No.
You didn't go and get your sister.
No.
You told the police that you put her wallet in a bag.
I don't remember talking to the police.
I understand that, Mr. Ferlazzo, but you've listened to the video and you've heard your words. So you told the police.
She is pressing this.
That you put her wallet in a bag, correct?
I did see the video.
And you heard you utter the words, "I put her wallet in a bag."
Press this.
I don't remember that.
You heard yourself say those things.
On the video?
Yes.
I saw the video, yeah.
And you heard yourself say, "I put her wallet in a bag."
Yes, I did.
You're able to give her that tattoo and successfully give her that tattoo.
His sister's tattoo, yeah.
Still. No memory.
Mr. Ferlazzo, that is your contact information, right?
What do we got here?
You did remember what day of the week it was when you were meeting with James and Seth.
From the video?
This is my favorite moment of cross-examination. He's about to make eye contact with the prosecutor, and something about how she responds, and perhaps how she looks at him, will shake his feigned exterior just that little bit.
Okay.
From reality.
I wish I could see the woman's face, bro. I know she's so confident in saying this.
We're talking about the video, right?
We're talking about reality.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Right between the eyes.
So, Mr. Ferlazzo, we can agree that you lie.
A lot.
Yes, I have lied to people.
You're lying today.
About?
Everything.
She is nailing this nigga. Oh, my headphones fell out. No. You said walk him down? Yeah, that's exactly what she's doing, bro. Us.
I'm sitting here giving you my recall of what I have to work with.
No questions.
So as you heard earlier, multiple segments of Joseph's interrogation were redacted before the footage made its way onto social media. Yet the prosecution made certain the jury viewed it in its entirety. What you're about to watch is, in our opinion, the result of a potent mix of sleep deprivation, mental exhaustion, and an extraordinary lack of situational awareness, very likely enhanced by the calibrated framing that occurred during the opening sequence of his apprehension. He had spent the entire night freezing in the woods, likely terrified and in a state of panic, after coming down off a 3-day bender of drugs and alcohol. Then, while at his most depleted, he was met by a figure of authority who offered him warmth and understanding, followed by another reassuring encounter where the rapport seemed...
Yo, they made plays on bro. Like, it's crazy because if they had caught him at like any other moment, he probably wouldn't have all this damning evidence against him and stuff like that. And like the fact that they fed into his narcissism too by being kind to him, like no one, get on the ground. Like no one got him hyped up to where he could get defensive. They completely opened him up and just slam dunked on him, bro.
Effortless and disarming. The focus
Watched his pregame to evaluate the game. No, dead ass, bro.
of the moment was subtly shifted away from the horror of what he had done, onto his own inflated sense of worth and self-pity, followed by a continuous process of positive affirmations and ego reinforcement, all of which forged the environment and the oncoming result that occurred in the 3 previously redacted segments of footage you are about to watch.
How does that turn into, I heard you say that you shot her, so explain how that incident continued.
I don't know. Something inside me said enough is enough.
Okay. Can you describe Emily when you shot her?
Oh my God, I don't want to hear that.
Like, what was she doing?
She had stopped fighting, and she had gone and laid down, and I went and jumped on top of her. And I shot her in the head.
Okay. How many times?
2.
And then you freaking stabbed her, you sick fuck.
If you could talk to Emily's parents, is there anything that you would say?
Well, you're sorry?
I mean, clearly I would apologize for being such a shit. But
What about Emily?
Huh?
What about Emily? What would you say to Emily?
You don't fucking treat people like this.
Oh my God, bro. Alright, bro. Even in the freaking heat of battle, while recollecting everything, you're the victim. She's cut up into multiple bags, and what you have to say to her is, you don't treat people. Whatever, dude. I
can tell you that I wish it didn't happen. I wish I could turn back time. I wish that I was just, I don't know. I don't know if you've ever just like wanted to be a dick, but I mean, I don't do it that well, like, so
yeah.
I'm usually just like, okay, like, he'll talk about it, fix it, you know, whatever, but.
So you felt she was being kind of like a dick just to be a dick?
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, like, I don't think that, you know what I mean, like, I suppose it would be like, if I told you guys and you're just both like looking at me, you know, but I'm sure you're thinking like, wow, this dude, what the fuck? You know, like, what pushes a man to do such a thing? Like, I would never do that. And believe me, if you would have asked me last week, I would have said the same thing.
Like, I don't think I've ever been in your shoes though.
Had Joseph Ferlazzo been met with immediate confrontation and transparency, none of this would have plausibly occurred. His demeanor and method of response from cross-examination is likely what you would have seen throughout this interrogation. Yet,
but they fed into his ego, bro. That's such a crazy play.
Due to the powers permitted under U.S. protocol, he was guided to a place where he could no longer walk back from. Now, before moving on to the final part of this video, we need to explore the nuance of this particular element, and why that nuance matters. As many of you will know, the permitted use of deception in American policing is extremely controversial, as it's been known to put innocent people into prison through false confessions. Many of these cases have gone viral over the years, with perhaps the most recent involving Thomas Perez Jr.
Well, this video is incredibly disturbing to watch. The man being interrogated is Thomas Perez Jr. He reported his father missing. Fontana police accused Thomas of killing his dad.
It was August of 2018. Fontana police were convinced Perez's father had been murdered. They thought Perez appeared suspicious.
It's really concerning to me that he hasn't been back yet.
They asked Perez to come to the station, and that's where they turned a missing person case into a 17-hour interrogation.
Murder. 17. Jesus.
Murdered your dad.
No, I did
Yes,
not.
you did. Yeah, yes. Daddy's dead because of you.
That's so fucked because, like, you're not him, bro. Like, people get, just because you put on some suspenders, just because your head is bald, just because you have a husky in the room, you're not him, bro. You're not light. You're not L. You're not cut from that cloth, bro. You have the... Yo. These niggas probably feel so, like... they probably feel...
We just told you we found your dead dad, and you don't give a...
They even brought...
You're not him!
...in Perez's best friend to try and get a confession.
Dude, they got you a murder, Dad. They got you a murder. Impossible.
When that didn't work, detectives brought in Perez's dog.
You killed him.
You're not him, bro. You're not.
And he's dead. And your dog is sitting here looking at you, knowing that you killed your dad. Did you stab him?
I didn't think that I did.
Oh, and now they're like, because he's so freaking exhausted.
But if you did, where would you have stabbed him?
Might have been the belly.
They learned that Tom's father was alive and well and was at LAX airport ready to take a flight to go visit his sister.
These niggas fired him, bro. Fired these.
Hearing filed a civil rights lawsuit in federal court against the city of Fontana, and the suit was settled for nearly $900,000.
Watch way too many mystery movies, bro. You're not Sherlock Holmes, bro.
Now, while both of these cases fall under the umbrella category of deception, you may have noticed they were starkly different in nature. One,
completely. They didn't like bring in the friend. They didn't bring in the dog. They didn't guilt trip. Like none of that.
Consisted of the futility technique and maximization. The inevitability of outcome was imposed to such an extent that it caused the subject to have an emotional crisis, while the other consisted of rapport development and minimization. There was no applied pressure nor manufactured sense of urgency, and the subject was given the space to construct his own perception of the situation, then full flexibility in how he chose to respond. One worked through fear and coercion, the other through guile and manipulation. But more importantly, one can cause considerable harm to the innocent, while the other presents a far lower risk of doing so. And as you've seen throughout this video, it can be somewhat effective when used correctly. But anyway, here's the remaining segment of Ferlazzo's redacted footage, right about the time where he realizes he just told on himself.
You freaking dickhead.
I gotta pee.
Knowing full well exactly where she is and what he has done to her, he texts her phone one last time. You're an asshole.
Right. Mind you, she's dead. He's texting a dead woman.
I don't deserve this shit. Ms. Adams told you in the state's opening statement that this case and this crime is about ego. Mr. Ferlazzo's ego. And Mr. Ferlazzo's nearly 42-year-old ego being
talk to that
unable to accept his 22-year-old wife disrespecting him. An ego so inflated that after killing her, taking her,
he still calls himself the victim.
Her life because he didn't like the things she was saying to him, because she didn't want to be with him anymore. He calls her an asshole. He tells her that he doesn't deserve this. The state submits that it is Emily, and only Emily,
who is a victim,
that did not deserve this.
Good shit.
How do you find Mr. Ferlazzo on the counter for...
I need this. Oh, I need to full screen this. I need to see his face. I need to see his face. Full screen that. Full screen that. Get me out the way. Get the f out the way, bro. Get the f out the way. Oh.
First degree murder, guilty or not guilty? Ms. Jantz, would you...
Get your hand off his back.
Would you like us to poll?
I would.
And Mr. Zago, is that your verdict?
His reaction wasn't recorded as his term was read out, but
What? Why didn't they do that?
Joseph Ferlazzo was sentenced to 45 years to life in prison, a punishment many have argued was unexpectedly lenient.
Yeah, 45. He could survive that.
He was subsequently investigated for the cold case murder of his stepmother.
Of his stepmom, yeah.
No charges have since been filed, and the case remains open to this day.
Damn. That got caught, bro. Caught, bro. All right, I think I'm done drawing for tonight. I'm starting to get lazy with my coloring, and I don't want to bum these scenes. But here, let's review what we got. So far, we got this in the Christmas tree. We got a referee blowing a whistle. That. Fuck, I don't want to do this one. Good Lord. We got this. We got that. Plane scene. This scene, 2 fossils, Nick coughing on me, Santa hat. This is funny because like this person like sneezes on like a grandma, and then like the grandma's gonna die, and he's gonna like collect this is like Minecraft XP that he's like collecting. I feel like this scene's kind of funny. So yeah, that one's gonna be cool to animate. That one's gonna be pretty cool to animate. Me jumping on like an item box and like squishing myself, that's a whole animation. And then that one. But that is going to be that. I hope you guys like my reactions to these multiple videos. I think I'm gonna post them all as one. Catch you guys in the next one. It's gonna be from me. Peace.